I love that intro. Never gets old. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in tonight's live stream. Tonight is all about all things motorbike security. Now, we've got some brilliant guests with us tonight, as well as a couple of special guests, which I'll obviously bring them in one by one in a second. But right before we start, what I'd love everyone to do, anyone that's watching this on replay or anything like that, first of all, say hello, pop your name in the chat, say hello, say you're watching, tell us where you're from, and if you've got any specific questions or queries or anything you may want us to visit and certainly have a look at tonight, then please pop them in the chat. Motorbike security is massively important. It's something that's on the talking point of everyone's lips at the moment. It seems to be something that's not getting any better. So the security itself is getting better. So the situation's not getting better, I should say. There's a lot of people who are having issues with their bikes being attempted to be stolen or whatever it may be. So it's what's this one? Watched the replay of the previous stream and thought, watch this one live. Fantastic. Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining us. And hello, we've got a few other people saying hello. Hello, Zuza. Hello, Carts Wheels. I'm sure I'll see you shortly. And of course, Claire, you're a regular. I see you every week. Fantastic. As well as John Campbell. Thanks very much for joining us. Right. Without further ado, let's bring some of our guests in one by one. You may recognize a couple of these lovely chaps. Let's bring them in. First of all, let's start with Jay this week, or AKA Mr. Crazy Legs on a Bike. How are you, sir?
How you doing, buddy? How you doing? You okay?
Very well, very well. Yes, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see you. But for anyone who doesn't know you, they must be living under a rock. Tell us a bit about yourself and about your channel, of course.
My name is Jay. I'm a content creator for Crazy Legs on a Bike YouTube channel, which I talk all about motorcycles and banter as well on a bike.
Very true, very true. And if you haven't done so already, please go check out the channel, click on his little subscribe button. And like I'm going to say for all of our guys tonight, it does help our channels and, of course, help us massively to keep the content coming. Next up, we've got, and you may remember this particular person, Steve. All right, matey.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Very well. Are you sitting a bit lower this week to make your head a bit smaller? Is that what
you're
trying to do? There you go. Fantastic.
There you go.
Welcome on board, Steve. Good to see you again, matey. And, of course, your channel is
my Carts Wheels, and same as Jay, all things motorbikes, especially Hondas, the best bikes out there.
Very good bikes.
Obviously, we're just out there having a laugh, loads of banter, and that's it, and just enjoying ourselves.
Absolutely. And of course, Steve, I really like everyone's channels that's on board today as well. Steve, I must admit, I've got a bit of a favoritism for yours because you've got like a family aspect going on at the moment. I've got you, your lovely wife, and of course your lovely son as well, Cameron, who's got his own channel, which I still love. I think that is brilliant. And hopefully we're going to see more and more videos of him, and he'll of course overtake you in the future as well, which is fantastic.
No. I'll delete his account when that happens.
Okay, next up we have, and this is our main special guest for this evening, I should say. As you may have seen on some of our social media posting, there's a fantastic company which has been around for quite some time now, and some of their products are really, really good. The company is Image for Security, and we're going to introduce Mr. Dave. How are you, sir?
Hi, mate. You okay?
Very well, very well. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, matey. And of course, you're from Image for Security. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Image for Security. We're based in the West Midlands, in Stourbridge, for anyone who's local. And that is where we have our base. I'm actually from Liverpool.
I was going to say it's a bit of a Birmingham twang. Liverpool.
No,
it's fine. It's fine.
There might be a few Black Country twangs in there now. But, probably picked them up from my father-in-law. But yeah, small family business. Me and my father-in-law. Got a unit in Stourbridge where we design, fabricate, manufacture, dispatch, everything. All things to do with bike security. So yeah, fantastic. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're looking forward to showcasing it as well, because there's going to be lots to talk about as far as the best tips of how to look after our bikes, whether it be in the garage or at home or out and about on the road or whatever it may be. But some of your products, and I'm not just saying this, guys, some of the products from Image for Security are absolutely brilliant. We're going to go through a few questions as well, which I know some of you have been sending in, and yeah, we're going to try and give you guys as much information as possible to look after your possessions, I should say. Now, last of all, I'm going to bring in someone else. Now, for obvious reasons, we're not going to show his face, but this particular person is involved with stolen vehicle recovery for the Coventry area. So he's actually involved. If Dave is the preventative side of things, we've got Rob, who's the other end, who is, of course, looking after trying to recover these particular bikes. So, Rob, let's bring you in. Hello, sir.
Good evening, guys. How are we?
Very well, very well. Thanks very much for joining us this evening. Now,
Not
of course, it's unfortunate that your role exists at all, but it is a case that the bikes do get stolen. It is it's a fact out there. These are fantastic, beautiful possessions we save up lots of money for, and people seem to want them. And of course, you are the other end of the spectrum, picking up the pieces. So tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so the group was formed probably a good 8-9 years ago now. The original creator of the group had to take a step back due to family commitments, so we took over. And over the last 3 to 5 years, we built the group from strength to strength, gained quite a lot of followers on Twitter, Facebook, various social media channels. Gone from we used to be known as Stolen Bike Recovery Coventry.
Yes.
That, however, diversified into pretty much anything that has an engine. To date, we've recovered bikes, cars, camper vans, plant equipment. Pretty much if it's got engine and wheels or tracks, we've probably recovered it at some point.
Wow.
So we're kind of a combination between, I think, as I said in the pre-brief, a combination between bounty hunters and bailiffs. We don't go around kicking in doors, taking people off bikes because they've nicked them and things. We're not vigilantes.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, it is kids that are stealing a lot of the bikes.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
I mean, you're more than happy to come boot my door in and take my kid. I'll happily. I'll unlock the door for you.
There you go. You heard
that
it
works
here.
Perfectly, Steve. I'll bring the cuffs. We'll drag him out.
You heard it here first. Steve has officially and publicly said that he wants his back doors kicked in. So let's go on to.
Only from North Decoy, though.
Yes, well, he's commented. Right, we have got some questions coming in already, which is fantastic. And again, if anyone is watching, please feel free to jump in with any particular questions. I actually quite like this one. So thank you, Matt, for posting this one. Interesting. Do you feel that social media and the vids people put up of kids stealing bikes has glorified bike theft and caused a knock-on effect, increase in theft? I never even thought of it like this. That's quite interesting. That people seem to be cool because they're nicking bikes, or they've got the balaclavas on and things like that. I mean, if I see those sort of videos, I'll be honest with you, I just click off them because I hate watching them. I can't stand it. I can imagine, actually, Dave, I can imagine you maybe watching them and seeing that as almost research for some of your products as well. What do you think?
Yeah, research. But I definitely agree with the question. It definitely does glorify it. And if you've got a bunch of these scumbag idiot kids all in these sort of Facebooky WhatsApp groups sharing messages and videos of them, look at me, I'm in this house robbing a bike. Yeah. Look at me, I've robbed a bike, riding it down the street, doing a wheelie, whatever. They're put on a pedestal, unfortunately, amongst their little idiot friends. But yeah, we have stories all the time. So we go out and install barriers at all of our products, really. And these conversations come up of, why did you buy our product? And 9 times out of 10 is because something like that has happened, or they've seen it, or one of their friends has experienced it. So then they've taken a measure to try and prevent it. So yeah, 100%. Social media is a nightmare for it, and for encouraging as well.
Well, yeah, and this is what I hate. I'll be honest with you. It's so easy to pick up your phone and go on like a Facebook Live and things, and people are more concerned now. If someone is stealing a bike or a car or a push bike or whatever it is, they're more interested in getting the likes and the footage of filming it rather than actually going, hang on, can you stop that? And actually confronting them. Don't get me wrong, and my advice to anyone out there is please don't confront anyone if they are physically doing it, especially if they've got bloody power tools and God knows what. It's not worth it. However, if someone was taking my bike, I've got a lovely big metal bat which I'd love to introduce them to, but no, we'll come to that another time. Rob, very quickly, I'm going to come to you on this one. Do you find that these videos on social media, maybe even CCTV or anything like that, again, do you find that those particular things are helpful, especially in recovering, because you may recognise them, recognise the cars or mode of transport they've got? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't want to give away too much about how we operate.
No, of course.
But their social medias do play a huge part in how we locate the bikes, how we identify the bikes, how we identify the offenders. They're not as savvy as they think they are.
No.
They seem to think just by putting their foot over a number plate or ripping a number plate off that we can't identify what bike it is, what car it is. There are many other ways that we do that.
Yes, of course.
And then we see anonymized videos posted onto shared TikToks or Facebook or Insta Reels and things, and we can quite easily trace it back. There's this wonderful thing called open source intelligence, and that's what we operate around a lot of. So we can find out a lot of information off your Instagram posts. You've got to know how to do it, but we can even get down to the point where we can find the registered email address for that Instagram account.
I think that's. Sorry, I was just going to say, I think that's the demise as well. That the social media, although it might be there to promote what they're doing, it's also there for the dumb criminals, if you like, to get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, they set them up. So they set themselves up for a very big fall very quickly without realising it.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's quite good then. So yeah, any sort of CCTV or anything like that, it's great that we can get hold of it so easily. I mean, yes, it is glorifying in some ways, but like we've all just said there, that is the double-edged sword that they are dealing with. And if they're stupid enough to do that, then 9 times out of 10, if they are trying to brag, they're going to have their face or something recognisable in it. They're going to get caught. That's it at the end of the day. So
I think it's worth noting, James, that the typicals that we're talking about aren't the cleverest.
No, of course not.
And it's bearing that in mind when you're sort of seeing these videos and things that, generally they've gone after the low-hanging fruit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the big thing, Dave. If it's that situation, you tend to find that, unlike the cars, the high-value cars, the bikes are very much an opportunist thing, and they go for the easy pickings, as you said.
I think there's two types, or at the very minimum, there's 2 types of, we'll blanket it and just call it thieves. 2 types, because there is, yes, the opportunists. They're just, they're walking by, they see a low-hanging fruit, a bike that's just there, and of course they're going to try and steal it. Then there's the other side of things, which is my biggest gripe, because they're not opportunists. They are planned. They're almost, they're ordered to steal. I'm looking for this particular bike. I need this bike. Can you get this? And then they go hunting for it. And that's the thing I hate. But it is, there's 2 sides of it. Now, some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, gents, we'll be hoping to prevent or the very, very, very least to slow these people down, because ultimately, I think we can all agree that whatever we do that is a way of motorbike security, it is going to slow them down. Will it completely stop them? There's always a chance that no, they may just bring the right tool for the job. They may bring whatever it is, and it's all about finding ways of slowing them down. Now, the first subject we'll talk about, guys, is security when you're at home. So, Dave, I'm going to come to you first of all, sir, because you are a master, a guru in this particular side of things. When we're talking about security at home, what sort of things would you say is the first thing to identify and the first sort of things to look at?
I would start this off by saying 2 things. The first one is think like a thief. So if you've got a bike, a car, a push bike, or whatever it is, like a thief, and just try and understand or work out what is the most likely point of entry into your garage, shed, home, wherever you keep your bike. If you can work that out and then work backwards from it. And then my second point would be to use as many layers as possible to build up a security system which aims to stop them, or at least slow them down, and make your low-hanging fruit no longer low-hanging. Make it as hard as possible for them. So in doing that, you want to be looking at anchoring your bike down onto something physically stop them from being able to gain entry into your garage or shed, putting different types of systems in place. So whether that's an alarm system, CCTV cameras, something that alerts yourself so you're aware of the situation, so you can then act accordingly, phone the police, etc. You know, further on from that, it's having a bike tracker, so then if it does get stolen, you've got another method of trying to recover it. There's also things like data dots now, which are another a way of basically putting your name onto parts very, very discreetly.
Is that still a good thing to have? Because I must admit, of all the different, and don't get me wrong, there's no such thing as having too much security and too much protection side of things, but the data dot, that's the one where they used to call it postcoding, didn't they? When they used to put like a blob or something on your bike, and that is tagged to use, so to speak, as the owner. You register it for yourself. Is that still something that is worth doing?
So when, before we mentioned, there's two types of fees. You've got the opportunist fee, and then you've got the professional fee. So the opportunist is going to get in, grab a bike, get out as quick as they can, enjoy it for an hour, ride it around, and then probably burn it out or dump it somewhere. Then on the other flip side, you've got the professional thief who will steal a bike, take it to a lockup somewhere, wait for it to potentially be found if they've got a tracker or an AirTag. If it's not, then they'll potentially strip it down and then resell the parts, invariably on eBay. And this is a massive issue at the minute, where a lot of the parts on eBay are actually just stolen parts. So if you can identify them with these dots or some sort of marking system, then either copper or somebody who's able to get hold of it can then trace it back. You've got more chance of getting the items back, and then proving that person's the thief.
Okay, so it's actually still really, really beneficial, even if it gets to the point of it's been chopped up, it's been started to be sold on all the different things.
These little dots are invisible to the naked eye, so you can literally paint. You can literally paint your bike in them. They cost like a little kit costs 20-30 quid. So it's one of the cheapest forms of security, if you like, of putting a mark on your parts and bike. So yeah, for 30 quid, it's definitely worth doing it. If that does unfortunately happen to somebody.
True. Yeah.
And then coming back to sort of, it depends where you secure your bike. So if you secure your bike in a garage, that's obviously where we specialise.
Yes.
And we are a massive advocate of physically stop them from taking it in the first place. So a good ground anchor, a solid chain, padlock, that would be your first point of call.
You've literally said exactly what Moisey's just said there. Ground anchor on the floor, walls, chains, disc locks, security lights, and a big baseball bat. I like that. I like that a lot. But no, absolutely. So, okay, so David, we're obviously going to divulge into your products a little bit now. So, what would you say is the if you've got a smaller budget, what's the first thing that you would recommend? What's your initial? This is the first thing I'd say to put in your garage.
Well, it all depends on your budget. So
of course.
Typically, the industry says you should spend 10% of the value of the thing you're trying to protect on securing it. In our experience, people don't do that. They spend way less, and almost they invest once the horse is bolted. So our big message is spend it now before it happens. So prevention is better than sort of after it's happened. Being stolen. But yeah, I mean, from the lower end, it's things like disc locks are relatively cheap. They stop your bike from being wheeled away. And for that opportunist thief, but they can be overcome. So thieves stick the wheel on a skateboard and then just roll it off anyway. The next level up is probably some sort of ground anchor and a chain and a padlock. So physically stop the bike from being able to be wheeled away.
And you've got you've actually got one there, haven't you, matey? What's
we do. We do a few different versions. The Apex Pro, which is the one I've got in my hand, is.
Hang on a second. Let's get you. There you go. You're full screen now. Look at that.
Fantastic.
That's a beast. That is.
Of your head.
It's the size of my head. Yeah, probably weighs the same amount as well. That's our top of the range ground anchor. It is the world's strongest ground anchor. We've attacked it for 30 minutes with a grinder. Attacked it with wrecking bars, not being able to get through it. It's the way we design things. So at heart, we're a fabrication business. So we deal in metal. And the way we designed the Apex Pro ground anchor, it's the distance from the outer shell to an inner plate inside. The the distance is greater than a 4.5-inch grinder disc, so you can
Dave,
chop and chop and chop. Yes.
sorry, Dave. Obviously, that also depends on how it's anchored. I'm guessing you get some kind of specialist bolt with that, and there's instructions on how to anchor that.
Yes. Yeah, you do, absolutely, yeah. So it's fixed into the ground with 2 sleeve anchors, so I'm hoping you can see the...
Hang on a second, let's get you nice and big again. There you go.
There you go.
What she said.
So there's 2 outer holes in the bottom, if I can get my finger in the right place. The 2 outer holes, they have 2 M10 sleeve anchors, and it's big and black, yeah. And,
again. Every stream, Jesus Christ. Okay, go on. Yeah, go.
And
You're going to stop inviting me onto these streams.
And there's a centre
Sorry,
pin that gets screwed in the middle, Steve. There's another one for you.
I'm married, Matt. I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, me neither. And so that one, the centre pin's resined into the floor, and it's set as hard as concrete. And because it's in the centre of the ground anchor, you physically can't get to it to attack it. The 2 outers are 2 sleeve anchors with like an M10 bolt with a ball bearing in the head, and then the 2 little tapped holes. They hold basically a base plate that goes over the top of all the fixings inside. So once you change in there, you can't get at anything at all.
Jesus,
So are they sort of like, you know, like a lot of products, you can declare them to insurance. So are they recognised by insurance?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So I think it was 2 years ago. It went through all the Sold Secure testing. So it achieved diamond rated ground anchor, which is also diamond rated motorcycle. But the diamond rated ground anchor test was a 5-minute attack of a grinder and a 5-minute attack of a wrecking bar, which is the toughest test that Sold Secure do.
Yeah.
In our own in-house testing, there's a video on YouTube of various YouTubers, Teapot One being one of them, MCN have come down as well, of them trying to attack it with a grinder for about, I think they gave up actually, both of them, after about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Our own testing was about 30 minutes. Again, we gave up after 30 minutes.
Wow. That's
it's just
that's above and beyond, the diamond standard, isn't it? I mean, for anyone watching that don't know, Sold Secure is the industry standard. It's as far as I'm aware, Dave, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's an independent company that do testing on security products. That's the idea of what they do, and then they rate them accordingly. And then they've got different ratings from bronze, silver, gold, etc. And diamond being the top. That is like at the moment the strongest and best form of security you can get.
I would also caveat that with it's within a category. So there's different categories of Sold Secure. So this is another top tip, if you like.
Go for it.
Make sure that you're looking at the category name. So there is about 5 or 6 different categories. You've got bicycle, motorcycle, ground anchor. They're the 3 main ones for keeping your bike safe. A gold or a diamond in bicycle is not the same as a gold or diamond in motorcycle. Is not the same as a gold or diamond in ground anchors. So you want to be looking for, if you're going to buy something for your motorbike, obviously start with motorcycle or ground anchor, depending on what you're buying. And I would strongly suggest no less than a gold. The tools and the time involved in attacking those products are less than a gold. It isn't worth having. So please just make sure you're making the right choice of when you're buying something. Just look at the different category and then look at what the sort of bronze, silver, gold, diamond is.
Okay, so
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. I didn't know that the categories were so different. For example, I thought diamond would be diamond. So that's a really useful piece of information, because if I'm looking at locks and I saw a bicycle lock and it says diamond on it, I'd be like, well, hang on, that's diamond. I had no idea that it would be the same sort of thing for. And what makes it different then for a bicycle lock to a motorbike lock then?
So Sold Secure, basically the different tests, there's 2 different things that are taken into account. It's the tools that they use, or that they're allowed to use, and the time that they're allowed to attack the product for. So for example, diamond at motorcycle, for that is a 90-second grinder attack. And then it's a 90-second anything else, which includes a hammer, no wrecking bar, drills, that sort of thing, hacksaw. But it's only a 90-second grinder attack at diamond for motorcycle. Whereas for ground anchor diamond is a 5-minute attack of a grinder. And
That's a
then
long time.
It's a very long time, and it's the introduction of a wrecking bar. So it's a
After
5-minute
the
attack
grinder?
of a wrecking bar as well as.
Jesus, that's a
Yeah.
thorough test, that is. And the fact that you guys have got diamond on your especially that Apex ground anchor you've got there, that's incredible. You know, I mean that's just mad.
There's one other diamond within ground anchors out there, which is it's like a Y shape, but that involves you digging a hole into the floor and concreting it in. This is the only diamond which is self-installed, so you can install it yourself. You've got an SDS drill. We provide all the template, all the fixings, everything that you need. As long as you're competent with a drill, you can do it in about 10 to 15 minutes.
But you offer a fitting service as well, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So
there you go.
Alternative, if you want us to come out and do it for you, we'll travel across the UK and we'll fit all of our products for you.
Is that the same for the chain as well? Because obviously you've got the ground anchor if they attack that, but the actual chain is the similar sort of material.
So the chain, so that leads on to the next point. So as long as you've got a good solid ground anchor, you need to have a good solid chain as well. So the thicker the better, essentially. Chains vary in all
because they're going to
sizes.
I don't mean to be like the elephant in the room, but I'm just sort of thinking outside the box a bit, because obviously
you're wasting your time attacking the anchor in this case.
Yeah. So if somebody spends all that, or spend the money on the anchor and then they get a cheap chain, it's obviously not going to work. It's useless, isn't it?
It's like having a chocolate teacup. Yeah.
You're only as strong as the weakest link. Literally, in this case, it's crazy.
Yeah. Think like a thief. What is the weakest point?
Yeah. Okay, so you know, if anyone is going to try and nick anything nowadays, and they see the Apex Pro they're not going to look at that. They're going to go, no, there's no point in even trying to attack that, because if they did it, as you say, it'd be a waste of time. Tell us about the chain. Is this the chain you supply with the Apex, or is that something you can?
So we do the Guardsman chain. We do it in 3 different size links: a 13, a 16, and a 20mm link. There are bigger ones out there. I think Squire do one up to a 24-ish link diameter. The difference between our chain and anybody else's on the market is that ours has a carbon alloy, which makes the chain links themselves. And because of the carbon in the links, it makes it incredibly tough against a grinder. So size for size, our chains actually outperform any other chain on the market by about 10 to 15% in a timed attack. That's with a grinder. So yeah, the chain is as important as well as the locks and anything else used. It's always about that. What is the weakest point? Yeah.
Dave, have you ever thought about some kind of a frame that you can put the bike up to and then put a bar straight through the wheel and lock it off that way?
Are you referring to a particular product that you've seen, or is that just
no? I would it's just how my mind works. I'm just thinking about if you could get the front wheel up to something like that anchor, but it's got some kind of a frame, and then you've got like a bar that goes straight through and locks off. So there's no chain involved. It's all anchored to the wall.
I have seen a similar product to that, but it encases the entire front wheel, which makes it almost impossible to get to the locking bar. Unfortunately, it is a very, very large piece of equipment, because it's designed to fit anything from a 125 up to a Harley Fat Boy. So it is a very substantial piece of kit.
That's interesting. I actually quite like the idea of again, another level of security. That bar. I mean, if you had, you say using the carbon alloy for your chain links. If you had that as a solid bar. Now, I don't know if it was a solid bar, would that make it, in theory, easier to attack rather than chains, or what? I mean, if we follow Jay's idea for a second, and had something that could just, come down over the wheel and slot through. That sounds great. What's your thoughts on that?
I've seen it. There is a product out there. I can't remember what it's called and how much it costs. I think it's one of those ones in our sort of trail of thought is what's the easiest and simplest to use.
Yes, of course.
So one downside to that is I think, I could be totally wrong, that you've got to have the wheel exactly in a certain position for it to work and for the bar to go through. Again, could be totally wrong. I'm not sure, but that's one of the things that came.
What about different wheel sizes, wheel widths? Obviously I've got a 21-inch wheel on the front.
It's not about the size, mate.
Yeah.
Well, it is for him. It's compensating for something, mate.
Oh, I know.
But that is a massive wheel compared to obviously like an 18-inch wheel that would probably fit in easily. If the 21 inch is going to be too big to get into it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily if it's just like a captive area sort of thing, like a wheel chock. You kind of put the wheel into the chock and come through. I mean, listen, there is 101 different ideas out there. That's actually a really good idea, Jay. I'd actually get on there and patent that quite quickly if I were you.
I'm pretty sure it's already. I think it's already done that one.
Is it? I was just saying, if not, Jay, maybe you speak to Dave and get in some sort of collaboration there. But but I mean, with any of the things that we're going to be discussing today, there's going to be pros, there's going to be cons. But no, I quite like that idea. I mean,
it's about layers. I wouldn't rely on just one thing.
No.
I'd have that. I'd have something else. I'd have as much as you can, in all honesty. But don't make it so that you don't use it. So if you're going to have something, use it, because we've been to garages where they've had ground anchors and chains and I've gone, it doesn't look like you've used that. It's full of, cobwebs. Do you use it? And it's like, no, I can't be bothered. It's like, come on, that's not the point. Lock it up, just keep it locked up.
Rob, if you're still there, buddy, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions very quickly. When you are obviously called to a particular bike that's been stolen or something, do you ever go out to people's houses first of all?
From time to time, we do. Generally to the victim's address, just to meet with them, get details. I mean, a lot of stuff tends to come in via social media now, or through emails and phone calls and things. But we do.
So
we have in the
do you
past
go to people's
out.
houses where they've had for example, they've padlocked their bike down, they've put the chain around it, and they've physically been cut or anything like that? Is there anything you've seen from after the horse has bolted, so to speak, that you can say, right, this is the reason it failed, this is the reason why the bike was taken in this particular case?
Yeah, I mean, we have offered advice in the past. We've been out. We're able to tell from inspecting what was left behind as to whether it was attacked with a grinder, whether it was attacked with bolt cutters, just from tool marks and things like that, because they are very different. It's very different damage depending on what tool's been used.
Yep.
Now, obviously, as Dave alluded to, you can get products that are grinder resistant or grinder impenetrable to some degree on some products.
Mm-hmm.
But the battery angle grinder now is the bane of our existence.
Is that the most common tool you find has been used in this particular case?
They're far too easy to get hold of. They're far too easy to carry. During the Triumph weekend for the female biker meet, we recovered 2 stolen bikes in Hinckley that were being used as the job vehicles, effectively. There were, I think, one was a moped and the other one was a small 125. They were being used to go around, and in the back of in the seat area of the scooter was false plates and also a couple of battery angle grinders. So if you're going around with a mini chain or a cheap disc lock or something, and that's the security you're relying on, I'm sorry to say it's not enough.
No. And this is going back to Dave's point massively. You've got layers, and you're going to hear that word a lot in this stream. I think layers is massively important. Relying on one piece of motorcycle security is great. Don't get me wrong; it's better than nothing. Of course it is. But the more you've got, the more you're going to slow them down. So much so that if you've got like a disc lock on the front wheel, a chain around the rear wheel, and I don't know, a grip lock or something up top, they're probably going to look at the bike and go, "Nah, it's too much effort," and they'll just walk away. And that is what you're aiming for with any sort of security.
It's sad to say, with security, it's about making your property less of a chance for them.
Target.
Push it along to the less of a
desirable
target, and push it along to the next bike that hasn't got as much security on it. Sad as that is.
What Dale said in the comments, just wanted GS.
I'll say Dale's got a really good piece of advice here. Buy a GS, no one wants to nick them. Thanks, Dale. Cheers, mate.
I mean, in fairness, James, that is true because they are very big, very heavy.
Oh, I know. You need a crane to lift them. It's fine. I know.
Dale's only jealous because he won't be able to get on one without falling off it. Say it, Dale.
I don't know. Okay, so obviously continuing talking about garage security, one of the, in fact, I'm going to so far say probably the best thing I've seen on the market in a long time is one of Dave's products from Image for Security. It is going to be the Guardsman. Now, tell us about this one, please, Dave. Where did this concept come from? And if people haven't seen it before, that is a very nice example of the Guardsman in place there. So what was the thinking behind it? Where did it start from? Where did it come from?
Well, it was exactly a bike being stolen out of a garage, which was videoed and shared on YouTube. And my father-in-law, Pat, basically being a metalwork fabricator, he goes, I'm going to design something to stop that happening ever again. So about 4 years ago, he started prototyping the Guardsman, which essentially is a barrier across your garage opening. And it stops anything large, your bikes, your cars, your toolboxes from being wheeled out. We developed it for a number of years, tested it, etc.
How many years have you been? Has it been operational now? How many years have you been selling it for?
So we actually started selling it at the start of lockdown. We started the business about 3 years ago. Yeah, because I think James, you were one of the first people to ever see it in person.
I was blown away by it from then. I was just thinking, it's one of those things. It's so, and forgive me for saying, it is so simple, and it works.
Yeah, that's exactly one of the key things to all of our products is that they are simple and easy to use. And the Guardsman being one of them. So, sorry, go on.
So I was just going to say, so could that actually be fitted on the external of an up and over garage, so it also prevents the garage door from opening?
So it can be if you really want it to be. The reason it's inside is so that it's not advertising the fact that you've got something inside to potentially steal, or you're not advertising to anybody that you've got anything in there.
I take it they can't lift the bike because obviously a lot of if it's organised and they've got a van, they can't physically lift the bike over the top of that.
So the way we've designed it in terms of sizes, it's 675 mil from the floor to the underside. Your average bike width is about 900, 950, depending on what bike it is. So the average bike won't be able to be sort of pulled underneath the barrier. And then typically garages have got an up and over door or a roller shutter door, one of the two. And it's incredible. Obviously, the average bike weighs about 240, 250 kilograms. And it's trying to get that bike over the top with the height restriction of an up and over door. Roller shutter doors typically are a little bit higher, so you have got a bit more room, but an up and over door sits at about 6 foot in height. So it's trying to get that bike on its side, over the barrier, and sort of get it out. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's
very time consuming.
Bloody hard, yeah.
You'd need a lot of manpower to be able to lift. I mean, even bloody 125s now. Yes, they're lighter than they used to be, but you'd need 2-3 people to be able to lift it and be able to get it out in such a way that obviously you're going to be able to use it afterwards. Not only that, if you've got the Guardsman, 9 times out of 10, you've got some sort of lock or something around the wheel as well. So they're going to be in the garage trying to get the lock off. Then they've got the whole thing of lifting up and over. That to me is the biggest thing of saying, well, even if I do take the bloody lock off, we've got to get it over that. Forget that. Yeah. They'll just leave it.
We have two sort of optional accessories. So one of them, if you can see on that picture there, on the locking post, there's a little loop on the front. That's basically it's an anchor point, so you can put your chain around the bike and attach that to the barrier, so it stops them physically from being able to lift the bike over.
Can I ask another question? I'm sorry if everyone's going to hate me, but
no, please do that. That's what the point of tonight is. So please go for it.
So I'm a potential bike thief. I open the garage door and I see one of those. Has that been pull tested? Can I tie that to my vehicle and pull it open? Can I ram it?
Ramming I wouldn't suggest because you're just going to batter the door in. But pulling it, so I'll tell you a story. We had a guy come up to us at a show and he came up and said, "Oh, they're brilliant." And I sort of looked at him and was like, "Okay, thanks. Why?" And he goes, "Oh, I bought one about 2 years ago." I said, "Oh, Brill, how is it?" He goes, "It's brilliant." And he goes, "A couple of lads came with a tractor, put a rope around it, and pulled the barrier out of his garage. And in the process of doing that, the garage basically fell in. So
Jesus,
and made so much noise that the whole street sort of woke up and chased them off. And he said it kept my bike safe. I've still got them.
Under the rubble, but they're still there.
I don't have a
but the fixings we use are for basically they're industrial. They're for sleeve anchors with shear off nuts, and there's 2 into the wall as well. So the barrier itself totally did its
I'm
job.
thinking,
and it was
I'm thinking more if I was to put a chain or something around the middle of it at its weakest point. How solid is that bar? Is it just going to bend? Rather than
a solid bar. We've done it ourselves. So again, there's another video of us doing that on YouTube. So what happened was the actual weld on this was a freestanding barrier that we put in our workshop.
Mm-hmm.
If it's in your garage, you've got the pillars on either side. You've got it anchored to a wall as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot stronger when it's in situ. But when it was freestanding in our unit, the actual weld on the 2 posts themselves broke before the fixings and the bar did. So that just tells you how strong it is. And since doing that, we've doubled the amount of weld that we put on them. So
interesting.
So you're more likely to take the garage floor with it than you will with the pulling the guard.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, if
the garage, it's the garage that will fail. Yeah, it's the garage that will fail, not the actual structure of the barrier or the fixings.
I think I'm just thinking outside the box, you see, thinking that anybody who's seeing this product and got these ideas in their head, obviously you're answering the questions now, so it's good to know that, because they are things that I've actually thought of, which I'm not a potential thief, by the way, but when I saw the product first, I did think, has this got some flaws in it? But
so
obviously
the barrier arm itself, and I'll tell this openly and honestly, is it always looks smaller in pictures than it does in person, and hopefully Steve will agree with that, because Steve's got one.
I do, yeah.
But it's
I think talking about something else then. Sorry, go on.
It always looks bigger in my hand.
Yeah. You got small hands, it's fine. Sorry, go on, Dave. Go on, mate.
But if you see it in person and you come and feel it, I open my doors to anybody that comes and wants to see it in person. Steve, shut up.
Sorry.
Come and feel it. The weight of it is about 25 kilograms.
Not making this any easier, mate. You're really not.
Oh, that's it. Steve's done.
Yeah, but no. In all honesty, I mean, from having this and seeing it firsthand, yes, the pictures they look fantastic. They look really well made products, and they are because once you get a hold of it, and Dave very kindly right at the very beginning. So there's been lots of different modifications and adjustments and upgrades since then. The entire mechanism is beautifully simple to use. It is solid, and once it's in place, even as a freestanding unit, because at the time, Dave, you only had the free. I remember it on my driveway, the freestanding side of things, and it was still like, bloody hell, this is solid. I mean, it's a solid bar, and
it's not a solid bar, but it is solid.
No, it's not. Yeah,
I think looking at that one as well, Dave. Obviously, that looks like, is that 2 bars that drop down into that center point?
That's our double version, so that's for big industrial units or double garages. So the single version has a span of up to 3 meters, and then after that, it's a double version which will span up to 5 meters.
So obviously, sorry, I was just going to say. So obviously, over a certain length, it's obviously got to be engineered in that way as well. So that would take any flex out of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's just to do with the height restriction of an up and over garage door. So that gives us the height that we can go up to, and basically the height determines the width that we can do.
Don't you do another one as well, which has got like 2 of the barriers going across?
We do actually, yeah. So we do another version which is it splits the door into 3. So if you've got grass bikes or lighter bikes that you're worried about being lifted over, we can add a second barrier at sort of.
Have you ever thought of motorizing them as well? Because they're manual, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and we've also thought about making them keyless. So that's a big one that I want to get done at some point soon, is making them keyless.
Like a key fob sort of thing.
Key fob or phone. Phone is probably Bluetooth, probably the big one. But yeah, we're only about 3 or 4 years old, it's quite early in our journey. So these modifications are to come at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah,
and I'm taking it, obviously, if you had it on your phone, there's also that. Well, there could be a risk of it being hacked.
Potentially, yeah. So our background is, like I said earlier, is fabrication and metalwork. So that's sort of our background, and that's what we know is making things out of metal. So that's why at the moment it's purely mechanical, and all of our products are purely mechanical.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point in the future, definitely we wouldn't want to be left behind because we haven't got a motorized one or a Bluetooth one. But yeah, another one product that we are working on is a bigger version. So it's basically for the end of your driveway.
Wow,
So
exclusive right here, ladies and gents. I didn't know about that one. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so it's basically this. It's the Guardsman on steroids. So it's twice the size.
Wow.
But instead of so for the single garage one, it's got a max span of 3 meters, whereas driveways are typically 4 or 5 meters, but people don't want the center post. So it's trying to make the span wide enough in one piece.
Couldn't you just get the center post that like drop down?
Yeah, so the one that James just showed on the picture, then that has a removable center post.
Yeah.
But in order to make it motorized, which is what we want to potentially do going forward, is to make the single arm motorized and stretch the full 4 or 5 meters.
That'd be good. That'd be
but yeah, that is a bit of a work in progress at the moment, and hopefully at some point you'll see one of them.
Looking forward to seeing that one. Dale's got quite a nice point actually. If it was Bluetooth, surely you can have a tamper alert on it. I mean, again, there's going to be so many different things by adding technology to anything like this. Having tamper alert, having something that would alert the police. Maybe if you've got CCTV, that could start recording, or an audio sort of, you are being watched, that sort of thing.
Can I just say? Sorry, I was just going to say, Dale doesn't even know what Bluetooth is. So
no, he thought it was a disease, didn't he? But yeah, I mean,
Dale.
Another alteration or an optional accessory is we offer an alarm system which works off a vibration sensor. So if anybody tampers with the barrier, the vibration sensor picks it up, sets off an alarm in the garage, but it also has a built-in SIM card. So in about 30 to 40 seconds of the initial tampering going off, you've got a 130 decibel alarm and you've got a call to your phone. So it's these layers, like I said earlier. It's about making it as difficult and as hard as possible by incorporating all of these different elements.
Can you get the alarm that it sends a link to your phone? Can you get that to a monitoring station as well?
Yeah,
like your ADTs and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. There's 100%. There's got to be a way to do that. Yeah.
I'm thinking if you're not at home, you see, and you're abroad, and it sets the alarm off.
I'm just going to write that down, Jay.
See, this is great. This is exactly what the reason this is. It's bringing everyone together and exchanging these ideas. Jay, just so everyone's aware, if people don't know what a monitoring side of things is, a monitoring station, what is that? Just for people that don't know.
Yeah, so basically, if you've got an alarm on your house, if the alarm goes off and you're on holiday, it will send to an alert company. I'm all right to mention a company on it. So you've got your big company called like ADT, which monitors that sort of thing. And then what they'll do is they'll send a security guard out to the house to check the property for you. But you pay a subscription for that service.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. There's quite a few that do it now. I think ADT, Very Sure, another big one.
Yeah, there's quite a few that do it, yeah.
There's a lot, yeah. We've had that as a discussion in the past with somebody that was going to do it. It's just about, for us, it's about scale at the moment. We need enough people to be involved in that to make it worthwhile financially and logistically.
I think all those sort of extras make it more attractive to the buyer, to the consumers. So
100%. That one with the alarm on. I mean, is that something? If anyone's already got the Guardsman, for example, can they retrofit it?
Yeah, 100%. So it can work as a full garage alarm system as well.
Brilliant.
So you can add up to 20 different sensors. You can have vibration sensors, PIRs, multiple remote controls. It's a full garage shed alarm system.
That's incredible. Okay, that's really good. Okay, so before we move on to the next subject, obviously, if anyone is watching and they're interested in these particular products we're talking about, let's start with the Apex one. What sort of price is that, and what's it gonna put them back for the setup which we see there?
Yeah, sure. So the Apex round anchor starts at £119.99, so £120.
Yep.
We offer that's delivered with all the fixings, everything that you need to install it yourself.
Yep.
Or we offer an install service where we can come out and install it for you, which is based on mileage. So it's £120 plus mileage to wherever you live.
Okay.
We're not going to tell them the other bit, are we, James? Or are we saving that to the end?
We'll save that to the end. We have got a
Yeah.
little surprise for people who will
Okay.
continue to watch the stream to the end. But 120 quid for the Apex, that's actually really bloody good, and that is something which is if not the, certainly one of the best ground anchors you can get on the market. I would always personally recommend that someone like Dave comes out and actually installs it for you, simply because he does it all day, every day. He knows what he's doing. He could also potentially look at your setup you've got at the moment and maybe give you additional advice based on your exact garage setup. So that's my little piece for you there. I'll have the commission. That's lovely. Thank you very much. No, but okay. So and how much for the chain setup you got there? Because I know you've got 3 different chains, haven't you?
Chains, starting from 129.99 for the 13 mil, going up to £200 for the 20 mil, and they're
sorry, Dave. If you buy them together, do you get is it a better deal if you get them together?
Currently, we don't have that on the website as a bundle deal. That's what you're asking, isn't it? A bundle deal.
Yeah.
Yep. But if you wait till the end, there's a discount which will help you out.
Do you know what? Go on. Let's tell them about it, Dave. Go on. We might as well. So Dave has very, very kindly said that he's going to look after any of the Midlands motorbikers, or anybody indeed that is watching this particular stream. That we want to encourage more and more people to have some sort of motorcycle security, whether it be at home, whether it be for when you're out and about on the travels. And this, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, this is for all the items on your website.
Yeah, takes it off everything. It doesn't take it off installation, just from product cost.
We have a fantastic 15% discount for you if you use the discount code MM15, and that's on their website. And Dave, what's the website, just in case anyone wants to write it down?
It's image4security.com. The number 4. That'll be live from tomorrow.
Fantastic, guys. So if anyone is interested in that, that's a really nice little sweetener. I mean, don't get me wrong, even without the discount, I think these products are really good value for money. It's not only is it a UK based brand, a UK business which is doing this for the bikers, and I've seen these firsthand. I know that they're bloody good things. So having a little bit of discount as well is just, I mean, that's brilliant. So for everyone, thank you, Dave.
If I may, James, we design and fabricate them all in the UK from our unit. They're made by hand. They all come with a lifetime or a 10-year guarantee. The Apex Pro comes with a lifetime guarantee. So if anything at all goes wrong, we'll come out and replace it. No questions asked.
That's really good. Someone's very quickly just said, what was the chain on the right-hand side? So that one there, is that the 20 mil one?
From memory, it's either 16 or 20. I can't remember.
And for anyone that is watching, the chains you've got, which one is the gold one? Is it a gold and silver?
We don't actually have them sold, secure, tested on the chains, purely financial reasons. But we've done all of our own in-house testing. And another one to mention is that we have a link with B-Moto bike insurance.
Yes, I did see that. I forgot to put that in the chat, actually, yes.
So if anybody is looking for insurance, we have a link with those guys. And again, you can get up to 10% off your bike insurance if you have our products, if you're using our products. So over time, it'll pay for itself.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that goes to show, guys, anyone that is, if an insurance company themselves are rating these products that they're actually offering discount for the actual premium, that again is testament to these products and how good they are. So that's really good. Yeah. So we will repeat this in a second about the discount code. And again, thank you, Dave. That's brilliant. And of course, everyone at Image for Security as well. That's brilliant. Just before we move away from the garage, we go to security when you're out and about. Jay, actually, you mentioned earlier about having something on the outside of a garage door. Obviously, the idea of the guardsman is if they do get through the garage door, then there's that bloody great big bar there. Then the other bits of security got inside, so that's the preventative there. But Dave, we have got, I believe this is a nice link into the defend. Look at that! Oh, let's get you on full screen there. So where's he gone? Oh, that's me.
No, that's you, James.
Yeah, no one wants to see.
That's you.
That's Jay.
Going through everyone here. There you go. Oh, have I lost the sound?
Let's get you all back in. I'm not very good at this. Clearly, that's ridiculous.
Amateur.
So, yeah, shut your face. So there we go, Dave. So tell us a bit about this Defender.
Yeah, so if you want to secure, basically, garage doors vary in quality. You've got to spend a couple of grand to get a good garage door that's going to be solid and secure. Typically, it's quite easy to get through either a roller shutter door or an up and over door. Typically, they get into the corner and peel the door out and upwards, and then they just scoot in underneath. On the back of your door, certainly for an up and over door, you've got a wire that goes down the back, which is a bit like a safety catch.
Yep.
Get in, they pull that, and your door just opens up really easily. So one thing that we have designed in the last year or so is called the Garage Defender. We do this for both a roller shutter garage door and an up and over garage door. Mm-hmm. And what it does is basically stops your garage door from being either jacked forwards and pulled for your up and over door, or your slats or on your roller shutter door from being lifted and jacked upwards. So the Defender, it sits on the outside of your door, stops it from coming up. Again, we've designed it similarly to the Apex Pro, which is that the distance from the outer skin to the center locking pin is a greater distance than the actual grinder disc itself, which I'm not going to say how big it is, but the grinder disc is about 37 mil, so the distance is greater than 37 mil. Wow. And it's dead easy, simple to use. It sits on the outside. It's got an undercoat of zinc, and then it's powder coated on top to stop it from being weathered. You get a base plate, which is about 1 centimeter in height from the floor, so it minimizes any trip hazards that you have on the floor as you're getting your bike in and out. Typically, other Defenders out there have a raised nugget, which can be quite tricky to navigate, where ours is really low profile. Mm-hmm. The shape of it is up and across, which stops anybody from being able to drill down and attack the lock.
Yep.
And it also doubles as a handle, so you can move your Defender nice and easy. And again, it's super simple and easy to use. You can lock it, unlock it, remove it in seconds. It uses the same style lock as the Guardsman barrier. So if you do have a Garage Defender on the outside and the Guardsman barrier on the inside, we can key the two of them alike, which again saves you having more keys than you need. Yep. And again, 10-year guarantee if anything goes wrong.
So sorry if I've missed it, Dave. How does that lock down then? Does the whole unit remove then?
So you've got two nuggets on the underside.
Hang on, let's get you full screen again. Go for it.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going right way, that way. So there's two nuggets on the underside which sit into a base plate on the floor, and then the locking pin goes in through the top.
Yeah,
you can see that, and then comes out the bottom through the middle hole, and that sits into the plate on the floor.
Okay.
So that locks real simple and easy into a base plate on the floor.
So when you
floor, sorry, mate.
Sorry, I was just going to say. So when you unlock it, the whole unit just removes then, doesn't it, from the base plate?
Yeah, you remove the locking pin from the top. You slide the Defender itself from the base plate, and then it simply lifts up, and then you move it and put it down somewhere else.
Yeah, cheers.
The base plate fixings are all internal to the garage as well. So from the outside, you can't get at, or you're unable to attack any of the fixings. And the only
that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah. What was that, mate?
If you had like block paving on your drive, obviously all the fixings, but the fixings are on the inside of your garage still.
Fixings are internal to your garage door, yeah. So as long as you got concrete inside your garage, you can install one, yeah.
See, that's another one of them. You know, like if you could have two of them either side and a bar going through that as well.
Yeah. There's another. You keep quoting other businesses here.
I don't. You know what? I know absolutely nothing about this product, and I can tell you all my questions and that are all off the cuff. So it must be just a big coincidence.
He's a spy. He's a spy.
He's already confessed he's a thief as well. So this is great. This is
fucking Northerners.
I'm not a Northerner, mate. I'm a Midlander.
Sorry, Dave. Go on, matey.
Yeah, having one or two of these, in both of the corners on your garage does exactly the same job.
Also, whether it's in the middle or both corners. I mean, I suppose the advantage of having it at the corners is going to stop people doing what you said earlier when they try to peel the corner up, sort of thing. It's going to reduce that sort of effect.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that's great. And again, it's a deterrent where, you know, if you just see a normal garage door, then you know the opportunists may think, well, if I break in that, I'll check it and see what's inside. 9 times out of 10, and certainly I'd be the same thinking this. If you walk past a garage and you see that there's that on the outside of it, then you make what the heck, Steve? You're right.
No, just it with fucking funny bone.
I don't know why they call it funny. It's never funny.
It's never funny, is it?
And that's karma, you little boy.
Yeah, no, if you see a garage and it's got that on the outside of it, then yes, some people may think, well, hang on, they're protecting something there. But then the other side of things is, but if they've got that on the outside, what have they got on the inside? They're getting, you know, you're going to think that these people are pretty clued up.
There's 2 trains of thought, isn't there? You either defend from the outside and you basically go, come on, have a go, or you put all your security on the inside and it's really discreet. And if they do manage to break through the door, they've got to defeat whatever's on the inside.
Is there any thought of alarming that box as well, Dave? In the future?
Yes. Yes, there is.
Watch him write a note in a second.
So one thing that we do currently have...
Why do you think he's got a green screen on him?
One thing we do have and are currently working on is we've got a locking mechanism that does already work on Bluetooth, and it's connecting that to a phone. So possibly.
Would that replace your bullet connector, your bullet box you've got? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But I can't tell you when that's going to be ready.
No, that's fine. The good thing about you, Dave, is you don't release products until they're ready, until you've done the right sort of testing. You know that they're going to be, you know, right for the market. So that's good. Rob, I haven't spoke to you for a little bit. Question for you, matey. Have you ever been to people's houses that have had attempted sort of thefts and things? Do you visit that sort of thing? Or have you seen anything like that at all?
No, I mean, generally we don't tend to be that involved with the attempts. If people want us to offer any kind of security advice and things, we're more than happy to do that. We're more than happy to recommend things like the MB4 security products, or if the budget's not quite there, we can sort of suggest things that would be enough of a stumbling block for people breaking into their garage or whatever. I mean, for example, myself, I've got locking bolts at the bottom of the garage door because I've got an up and over.
Yes.
I've got locking bolts at the bottom which prevent you from pulling the bottom of the door out. You know, if you attach it to the back of a Land Rover and rip the door off, you probably manage to get past them. I get a feeling that door, the garage door,
the Defender
from the Defender. Sorry, yeah.
That one there. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. I can imagine that if you manage to attach, fix it properly, I think that'll probably pull the tow bar off a car that you try to rip the door open with.
Well, it depends on the garage door, but yes, it's using that word again, layers. It's another layer that you can have to slow them down.
And you've got to think that 99% of these people are opportunists.
Yeah. 100%.
It's the hard. You're never going to stop the hardened criminal who's a planned professional. You simply can't.
They'll come prepared. They'll meticulously plan it if it's a targeted attack. But I have to say, in our experience, that the planned attacks on properties for a particular bike or things like that are much less of an occurrence than the opportunist seeing a garage that they know there's a bike in there and it looks an easy target. That's far more prevalent.
Okay, that's brilliant.
I totally agree with that.
No, right, that's fantastic. Okay, I don't think there's any other questions. There is, however, this comment which I do want to read out. Jonathan has said, "Never realised how many options there are. Just come back into biking, and only now do I realise I have nothing, have next to nothing. And I'll be sleeping in the garage from now on." Well, hopefully, Jonathan, this has answered some of your questions, matey. And if you get in touch with Dave at Image for Security, I'm sure he can offer you some advice. And now you've got that fantastic 15% off code. Maybe we can, sort something for you just to give you some peace of mind there for you. Moisty wants to say that Cart's Wheels uses Tenorman's underpants for extra security when he's out and about. Fantastic. Love you, Moisty. Right. Okay. So let's move on to security when you're out and about. So the products we've discussed so far are brilliant, absolutely brilliant for when you're at home. You've got the ability to be able to, physically nail the things down, cement them down, get the fantastic bolts which you've got and get them down. But when you pop to the shops, when you go, you're out and about with your mates, or like we discussed a minute ago, if you're out at, let's say, a bike meet or anything, then that is where the opportunities, that's where the main thefts usually occur, because it's a lot easier, it's a lot harder to be able to secure these sort of things when your bikes, when you're out and about. So what's our thoughts? What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think, right, I've parked my bike, I'm outside of shops, I could be an hour. How are you going to secure your bike? Jay, go for it.
Sorry, mate. I just before we roll into that, I was just going to ask Rob if he knows what the ratio is of bikes being stolen from home compared to bikes being stolen out and about. Is it 50-50? Is it more out and about?
In our experience, it is significantly more when the bikes are out and about rather than home, because they're disagreeing with me.
Yeah, so it's about 8. Well, from I'm on the MCIA crime reduction group, and the stats from them, it's about 80% are at home compared to about 20% when you're out and about. Yeah,
that's a lot more than I thought.
I'll be honest with you, I thought it was the other way around. I guess
our experience has been that it's been more prevalent when the bikes have been out and about, mainly down to the fact that there's less security on them.
I'm guessing, Rob, that because of the way that you guys operate, which is brilliant, by the way, I'm guessing that their bikes are out and about social media, and that's where they kind of say, "Oh, my bike's been stolen from this car park or this or whatever." So they get in contact with someone like yourselves as a bounty hunter sort of thing to be able to try and hunt them down. Whereas if it's stolen at home, my guess is that the first thing they do is they contact the insurance company and the police. So they maybe wouldn't get in contact with you, Rob. So yes, in your experience, Rob, you are going to see more of them stolen out and about. But Dave, especially with the groups that you're in as well, and globally, or around the UK sort of thing, that these bikes are going to be more stolen or more at home. He's frozen. Is he there? He's there. Sorry, I thought you were frozen.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Everything just froze then for some reason.
I think everything did, yeah.
So go on, Dave. From your opinion, what was your statistics you had there?
Yeah, sorry, it's just purely from the MCIA crime reduction group. It's a national group, involves the police and all the insurers basically. And from their experience, it was about, off the top of my head, it's about 70 to 80% of bikes are stolen from the home. That's not to say that there's obviously a huge amount of stolen when they're out and about. But it's also worth noting that not all crimes are reported, so it could be a little bit either way as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's crazy that the fact that there's crime at all. The reason we're having to have this discussion is because, especially now, it seems to be on the up anyway. Whether it's out and about, whether it's at home, it's crazy. So, it's just a shame that we are having to do talks like this to raise awareness.
It's a massive shame, but I would say this as well, that the insurers, Bennett's. So there's a guy called John Milbank from Bennett's who does a lot of product testing of security and all sorts. And speaking to him and his experiences, just simply having any type of lock on your bike reduces your chances by 30%. So
just by having even a basic lock.
10 quid Amazon, something from China, it reduces your chances by 30%. So
there you go.
Clearly,
so at the very least, guys, get something.
Use something. Use something.
Yeah,
definitely.
please do not use the cheap Chinese nasty things off Amazon.
But it's like
there are very, very easy things to take off without damaging the bike at all. Sadly,
it's like Dale said. Just get yourself a BMW badge on your bike, and then it's safe.
Or a Ducati, because it ain't going to start.
Well, that's why I've got a BMW now, mate.
Oh, hang on, here's one here before we move on. My dad had a roller shutter door and used to put wooden battens in the runner inside the bend and add a little something. Yeah, so again, layers. I know we're going to keep saying it, but it is, anything, and that is very simple, but it's very effective. So yes, absolutely. If you've got anything that can physically stop the mechanics.
How would you
great if you've got access from the inside.
I was going to say, yeah. So you put them in. How do you get out?
Back door, mate. When you've got when you live in a proper house, Steve, you get a back door to your garage.
God,
I'm going to be
cat
very
nails. They're out. Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I know, what have I done to you today?
Honestly.
You've done a lot of things. Just watch the rerun, mate. Just say.
Right. Okay. So, So you're out and about. You stop at the shops and you park your bike up. Are we saying that a chain is the first thing you think of? Obviously, the more you have, the better. But there's chains, there's disc locks, there's D-locks. Dave, do you do any of them at the moment?
Yeah, we do a few. But number one is lock it to something that's immovable. It's similar to your garage. Find an anchor point if you can. Find a lamppost, a tree, something like that. Mm-hmm. And if you can afford to carry a big chain, do it. I know obviously they're not ideal for carrying around. We do quite a simple one, which is a self-locking chain, which locks itself, and it compacts to about a sort of a large melon size.
I think Light Locks took the market on that one.
Yeah, Light Lock, and there's also.
I was going to ask that question. Do you have a product that is very similar to Light Lock for motorcycle touring? Because obviously, when we're touring away, when we're touring, everything is weight restricted, and the last thing I want to be doing, obviously, when we go away, I've always got a 16mm chain and a disc lock.
Steve actually takes an anchor and anchors it down into the grass, but it's actually
properly.
Oh no, it's a tent peg. It's a tent peg he uses.
No, well, seriously though, obviously when it comes to chains, even that 16mm chain still weighs 5-6 kilos. That's an extra 5. Have you got a product that is lightweight but still durable?
Like I was saying, we do the self-locking chain, which is also alarmed. It compacts to about a melon size. But you mentioned Light Lock there. I know Squire have also got a wearable similar device. But it's incredibly tricky because obviously you're constrained by the size of your top box. Weight, as you'd mentioned there, Steve. It's really, really tricky one. So it's about just doing as much as you can with the space and weight that you're prepared to use. And
it's always going to be a trade-off, isn't it? It's always going to be a trade-off between the durability and how strong the item is compared to the weight. And obviously, 9 times out of 10, the heavier something is, not always the case, I know, but the heavier something is, the stronger it's going to be, the more of a deterrent it's going to be. So, so based on that and based on weight saving, disc locks. I mean, disc locks or D-locks, which one would you say is a better particular product?
I would say probably. Well, they do a very similar job. They stop your wheel from turning, so they both do that. They come in different shapes and sizes. It's one of them. We specialize in garage security, so we do a couple of different versions. We sell a brand called Zovi, which have an alarm disc lock, which is very good. It gets really good reviews. If your bike's tampered in any way, it sets off 120 decibel alarm. Really compact. Really compact.
120 decibels. That's going to blow your eardrums off. Jesus.
Yes. So I believe it's the loudest that there is on the market. I think Oxford do one which is 110.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've got the Oxford Boss, which is like a big yellow padlock that's alarmed. But I suppose, James, it all depends on what scenario you're in as well. Because when we're just flitting on, we just jump on the bike, go to the calves and that, it's always in your sight. It's in your line of vision.
You're always watching the bike, aren't you?
Yeah. But obviously, when we go camping, it's next to the bike, so a disc lock with an alarm would probably be suitable for that. But then, obviously, if you're going touring and you're staying in a B&B hotel, whatever, you want something then like a chain, proper chain and padlock, don't you? Yeah. And to anchor it to an anchor point if you can.
Something else that might be good is because it's quite light as a cover, just a simple cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And-
almost like a forgotten security method, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because just
not-
by simply covering it, it will stop people. I mean, okay, yes, a cover's a big garish thing, but if you get something that blends in a little bit, sort of thing, it may just stop them as they're walking past.
Yeah,
seeing
I
it.
got. I went on a camp once and I bought one of those camouflage ones, and
You
they
couldn't
really.
find your bike for days, could you?
No, well, I'm still looking for it. So
What campsite was
His
it?
old
Mate?
age. You can't remember.
no, it's one of them
Yeah,
dogging.
it's
It was
the
one of
whole
them
thing of-
dogging ones.
Dug in. I thought I
It's the whole
recognised
thing
you.
of out of sight, out of mind,
Oh,
isn't
did you
it?
and
Really,
Musty go
with the
together, did
covers.
you?
Yeah.
Rob, absolutely out of sight, out of mind, and that is. Do you know what? There's going to be lots of little hints and tips we're going to pick up throughout this as well. A cover is definitely one of them. The covers you can get, we actually put the lock through, the chain through the covers as well. That's always good. Also, when you put a
I mean,
cover
you just
on,
get a
try
big
and find-
Suzuki branded one, and that'll put people off nicking it to start with.
It was going to be one of the brands that was said on that, so yeah, I knew you'd choose one of them.
It
one
doesn't
thing I will
work for
say-
them then.
Yeah. One thing I will say is when okay, so let's say you chain up your bike and you lock it to something. There's not always something which you can physically attach it to. So there may not be a natural anchor point like a bollard or a chain fence or what? Sorry, a steel fence or whatever like that. So a lot of people just literally get the chain, wrap it round, let's say the rear wheel twice, and then lock it up. Now, of course, the downside with that is if the chain's round the wheel and it's on the floor, well, that's just giving them a real nice base for them to attack with a hammer or something to add some more leverage to be able to cut through it. So one hint I found, I think it was actually yesterday when I was going through some of the footage, is by having the chain round your bike or whatever, have it elevated, have it away from the ground, have it up high sort of thing, and that's going to stop them having the leverage or having something they can back it or help prevent them be able to get through it. I don't know. Have you guys heard of that before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a
keep-
really
keeping
good...
the bike, keeping the chain up in the air. The chain, it's not so much the chain; it's generally more the padlock. That's the weak point that's attacked.
Sorry, yes.
Either with a hammer method and things like that. If you buy, if you can buy the biggest, beefiest chain in the world and put a crap padlock on it, and it's finding the weakest link in the chain. And unfortunately, normally it's a padlock. The best padlock I've found is ones that are designed for shipping containers.
Oh, bloody hell,
Because
that'll do.
the pin, because you can't cut it, the pin will spin.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
cylindrical pin. If you hit it with an angle grind, it'll just sit there spinning in the bearings.
Yeah.
Really difficult to cut.
The other one is have your chain tight. So have it elevated is fine, but having it tight so you can't get to the other side of the link. So generally you have to cut both sides of the chain link, and if you can't physically get to the other side, then you can't cut it.
I've seen it where I've seen when they've had a disc lock on as well, they just cut the disc, don't they, on the bike?
Yeah.
Of course, didn't even think about that.
Or the wheel.
Or the wheel, it's the weak point.
It depends how much they want the bloody bike, don't they? It's crazy what they'll go
It's
to.
the same with it's the same with the grip security as well. The ones that lock the brake on and things.
One on
I've
that
seen
one,
somebody.
because, sorry, carry on a second. Sorry.
I was just going to say I've seen somebody who fitted one to the clutch, and I was just like, well, that's great, but I've now got no, you can just wheel it along. There's no resistance. But even putting on the brake, they can be defeated as simply as cutting the brake line. If you really want to nick it and you've still got the rear brake, who cares? If it's going for parts or whatever, that's an easy way to get past them.
I think at this stage it's worth saying that that with all these products there is going to be ways of getting around it. It doesn't mean that it's a bad product or a bad design.
No.
Again, we're going to say the word again. It's about having the layers. It's if you've got a grip lock and a chain and a D-lock on it, well, that's three things there that they're just going to go, nah, forget this. I'm not going to do it. So having one item alone, it may be good if you're just nipping into the shops or whatever and stop that opportunist. And again, something is better than nothing. So please have something on your bike, for God's sake.
I use the Monimoto as well. That as soon as they move the bike, that'll ring my phone.
Oh, that's the GPS tracker thing, isn't it?
The GPS tracker thing, yeah. The only downside of that is obviously you need a subscription on that one.
How much is that?
I think you just pay for the SIM, so I think it's about 30 quid.
You've already GS, mate. It's all right. You can afford it.
Enough for the GS.
Yeah, the Monimoto is actually a pretty good system. I think, as you said, you buy the device outright. I think for anywhere between 100, 150 quid.
Yeah.
And then you pay, I think it's like a year's subscription for like 20-30 quid.
Yeah, just for the SIM card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just for the connectivity. There are cheaper ways of doing it. I've used trackers in the past that are Amazon specials with a SIM card in that cost me £6 a month, but the Money Motor is still cheaper in that sense.
I'm a stickler of this. Yes, there is cheaper ways of doing things. I'll be honest with you. I hate skimping on security. I think that
whole buy cheap, buy twice, isn't it?
Well, buy cheap, you lose your bike. In this case, it's crazy.
Sadly.
No, it is, and it's so true. I mean, Dave, are you linked with a tracker system?
We do, yeah. We've got Data Tool. We've got a partnership with Data Tool. But just to back up that point there, James, where you said it's like, the hassle of having your bike stolen isn't just there immediate about losing your bike. It's the insurance goes up. Not many people know that actually your insurance on your car, if you've got a car that you're running, goes up. And it goes up for the next few years as well. So it's almost like another message from us. Yeah. I've written a blog about it, and I've done my research on this. The impact isn't just the cost of your bike at that point, because generally you've got insurance which covers it, but your insurance thereafter for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years is way outruns any sort of initial costs. So if you spend 10% of the value of your bike on securing it and stopping it from being stolen in the first place, it will pay for itself by not having it stolen.
100%. And people don't they seem to realise this, that the bike itself you're going to have for, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years or maybe even longer. But then when you sell the bike and get another one, the security's still going to be there. You've still got the security in your garage. You've still got the locks and chains. So it is an investment. It's a protection.
I'd probably say the only thing you need to change would be a disc slot, because obviously you can get the pins that are specially designed for the holes in the disc.
Absolutely.
So that would probably be the only one you need to change.
Yeah. Even then, these items, they don't wear out. Well, yes, they probably wear out if you use it a million times in a week, sort of thing. But you could, you could sell it and as a usable item to someone else. Well, that's going to fund your next one for your specific bike. So, if there's one thing that I would love everyone to do from this video, anyone that's watching this back on the replay, is invest in something. Go out and buy another disc lock. I mean, how long does it take to put a disc lock on? Seconds. How long does it take to put a grip lock on? Literally seconds. Go and get something which is going to just give you that peace of mind. And if it seems like we're scaring you and trying to put the fear of God into you, kind of that's the point in a way, because
it's too late once the horse is bolted.
Yeah, it is. And
now.
I mean, I'm lucky in a way because of the products and the security I've got, that no one has. I've said it now. No, I've never had anything stolen, but I can only imagine. Yes, touch wood, absolutely. Yeah. I can only imagine what it's like.
Give me a ring later, James.
Yeah, I know. I will. I'm going to commission you to stand outside for me, mate, just to stop it all.
You couldn't afford me.
No. Well, I'm sure you don't cost more than 10% of my bike. Yeah. but yeah.
One.
So no, it won't be. I know you're going to do another one. Okay. Right, let's so yeah, there's loads of different items out there, and please have a look. But also, and Dave, I'll come to you on this one. When you are looking at any particular item, obviously Image for Security is the brand that we recommend, because I know the product, I know it, I've seen it, and I think it's brilliant. So it is something that Midlands Motorbikers and myself recommends. But if you're looking for any particular item out there, any particular sort of security item, what sort of things do we need to look for? As we mentioned, Sold Secure, but what else do we need to look at when we're looking at these items?
Sold Secure are a good starting point. There's lots of videos out there from certain influencers that have tested all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Do your research. Go and have a look at it. Go feel it for yourself in the shops. Ask an expert. Give me a ring if you want to. I'm more than happy to answer any questions as openly, as honestly as I can.
About security, by the way.
About anything security related. Yeah. not anything.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, I get Steve talking.
Steve's writing down your number now. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've already got him on speed dial. It's all right.
But yeah, give me a call. But do your research. It's all out there. But look for the Sold Secure ratings. Look for if it's been actually attacked. So I'd caveat look for where products have been attacked as well. So there's the actual proof of it being attacked. But yeah, if in doubt, if in doubt, I'm sure you'll share my number. Just give us a ring.
Yeah, absolutely. And please, guys, check out the Image for Security website, literally imageforsecurity.com. But one thing I will say, you mentioned about influencers. I'm a bit up in the air with influencers because a lot of the influencers, not everyone, I'm not going to say any names or anything, but a lot of the influencers nowadays, they get a product and they think, oh, I've got it for free, I'm going to show it. It's the best thing in the world. But they don't do these tests that you're talking about. They don't do the destruction tests and things. So as great as they may be for recognizing or certainly for knowing about a product, I would always say what you said there, go on YouTube, look at the destruction test, look at the actual tests that they do to make these products.
John Milbank from Bennett's.
100%. Yeah, he's brilliant. He properly goes for it as well, doesn't he?
He does. He don't mess around. And if anybody wants to come to our unit, we've got a unit in Stourbridge. We've got all the tools. Again, open door. If you want to come and see something smashed up or attacked, again, get in touch. I'd love to do.
The people pay to go to these rage rooms. That'd be great. I'd love to come down and just have a go with it. You know.
Yeah, please. Maybe we should do that, James. Maybe we should do that.
I'm up for that, mate. I'm up for that. We can properly test these products, and I'm going to talk to you after this, and we'll sort it out.
We'd be game to come along with that one, James.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that'd be great. We could properly, but in all honesty, that'd be great because that is putting the proof to the pudding and showing how good these products are.
I don't want to name names. We've tested pretty much all of the things that are out there already, and we use that to basically design and manufacture what we do now. So if you do want to see things in person, then give me a shout and we can get it sorted.
See, that'd be great, and I think that maybe the viewers as well, they'd love to see that and actually see these things being properly tested, because it's one thing seeing, let's say for example, again, no disrespect, Dave, at all, but if you are testing your own products, then people may think, well, hang on, they're holding back a bit because they want it to be good. But if they get an independent someone with a sledgehammer, they're gonna hopefully see.
Again, we've got videos on YouTube of me attacking stuff. I mentioned before, Teapot One, MCN have been down.
I think you need to get the beast Eddie Hall down there as well.
I'd love to. Yeah. I'd love to.
I'm so going to try and do that. That would be amazing. Yeah. That would be amazing.
If anybody's got a connection, let's do it.
Let me see what
he did one with the security door, didn't he?
He did, yeah. But he's always up for challenges. You've just got to put it in his comments in his videos.
Right, Dave, let's get on it, mate. We'll sort this out. I want to get the beast in.
That would be hilarious to watch.
See, me having a go at something is one thing, but Eddie Hall doing it, that'd be amazing. Okay, cool. So you've seen it here first, guys. We're hopefully
challenge accepted.
There you go. Oh, I like that. We might have a little charity day on it. Who can try and get the best through it? Okay, so we've mentioned a couple of things already about the opportunities thieves, the planned attacks, and that sort of thing. What is the most common tools that are being used nowadays for breaking into a chain, a lock, or whatever it is? Is there something that we see time and time again? I think Rob said earlier that it was the grinder. That seems to be the most common one to go for, especially the battery operated ones.
I think leaving the keys in your top box.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it.
You wouldn't be the first person to do it.
No,
getting halfway down the road, Jay, your keys are still in your top box.
Yeah,
mate.
every time.
Are you serious? Is that actually what you do?
One of the lads did that at work with his keyless start bike. He was about to ride out the gate, and his keys are hanging out the back of his top box.
Yeah.
I mean,
you did it at the weekend, didn't you?
You what, mate?
You did it at the weekend, didn't you?
I did, mate. Yes.
You actually did. Oh, there you go. See, even professionals can make mistakes, guys. There we go.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's.
But I think Rob mentioned
one downside.
It there, James.
Go on, mate.
Sorry, I think Rob mentioned it there. The battery powered angle grinders, you can get them from Aldi for 20, 30 quid these days.
I mean, are they decent enough to be able to get through? I'm not saying the top chains, but they're just going to like butter straight through all these things.
They will get through anything. Not top chains, bottom chains, everything. You'll get through anything with an angle grinder eventually. There are materials out there being designed. They've got Lightlock that brought one out. Squire about to bring one out. There's another business that's just brought one out. The thing is that the material at the moment that they're working on is basically angle grinder material. So basically, it destroys the grinder disc. But the problem with it at the moment is that it's not very. It's difficult to shape, and I think it's quite expensive. So there are materials out there that stop the angle grinder. It's just about how you get that into a product and how you get that into a product that then still works.
So that's interesting. I didn't think they'd be having a product that would stop an angle grinder. I always thought the idea of the products was to slow it down and or blunt it, and that sort of thing. But actually, if they're designing something which can stop or just destroy the blade,
I'll paraphrase that as not stop it. It needs several discs to get through these things.
Right, got you.
Eventually, you'll get through it.
I know it's completely different, but I seen something the other day, and it was a pair of chainsaw trousers. And they had just put a normal pair of denim trousers out, wrapped around a log. Chainsaw just went straight through it. Then they put this chainsaw trouser round, and all it did was it pretty much just clogged up the whole thing and destroyed the chainsaw.
Yeah,
and it did. Yeah. It took the first layer off, and that was it.
Yeah.
So maybe
I think in that situation, Steve, it works on a chainsaw aspect because there's teeth to grab.
Yeah.
So you can have like a Kevlar type material or a metal aramid or something in there that would basically gall the chain up and jam it up. Whereas with a grinder, there's nothing there for it to necessarily snag on. You've got to either make the material ridiculously hard to cut through, so going like down the tungsten or tungsten carbide route, or basically have it as Dave said, where it destroys the disc and you have to take several attempts at it to get through, at which point they probably have bottled it anyway.
Yeah, because let's face it, the noise of cutting through something like that is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, or you design your product so that your grinder can't get to a certain point, which is in the instance of the Defender and the Apex of ours is what we've done. So we try and think of it not necessarily as beating the grinder. We stop the grinder getting to certain points that matter, which is how we design all of our products. But then you mentioned one before, Rob, which was the spinning piece of the lock on
the container locks.
Yeah, so that's another great thing. And essentially, we've got booby traps in certain places of positions you would think would be the weakest. So on the guardsman garage barrier, we have booby traps in positions where you believe would be the weakest. So if you were to attack with a grinder, you would probably come up with or come against something that might hurt you.
Interesting.
Being slightly cryptic, but not wanting to give.
No, you'd have to be cryptic. One of the things, surprisingly, that defeats angle grinders is concrete. Surprisingly, a good mix of concrete and ceramics.
Shatter the blade.
Yeah.
It just overheats the blade and it shatters. So the chances are you're going to come away with the injury rather than getting what you want.
Yeah, 100%. It'll snag. And the people who buy these 30 quid grinders, they can't use them. They're typically, what we've said previous is opportunists, young kids who don't know how to handle an angle grinder. So if they hit something like that,
as soon as it kicks back at them, that's it. They're done. Doing some damage.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was some locks that I'd seen that were made up of. It was like a belt, effectively, but it was steel cable within a plastic outer.
So similar to the light lock ones, because that's exactly
similar to the light lock. Yeah. And basically, it were you could go at it with a pair of bolt cutters and nothing would happen. The cable would just crush rather than actually cut through. Sadly, angle grinders do tend to work a little better, but then the outer layer tends to gall up the blade and again overheat it and cause it to snag, and it makes it a lot more difficult. But if you've just got a steel cable, an angle grinder would make light work of that, unfortunately.
The thing with angle grinders though, the biggest plus of an angle grinder is that they're cheap and portable and really good. The downside is that they make a hell of a lot of noise. So
if you go in stealth, they're going bolt cutters and things like that. But
so there are things. There's pros and cons to it. Yeah.
With anything,
pros and cons to every security measure.
Yeah, of course. And again, I'm going to say it again: layers. Get as much as you can. Get 2-3 things, and just get yourself secured as much as you can. One thing I saw the other day, Dave, and you might know this actually. Is it true that there is like almost like with the locks, the chains, and all these sort of the metals, etc. There's like an outer hardness and an inner hardness as well. So is it?
That's specific to chains, really. So you have some chains have different levels of hardness.
Right.
I'm going to be a bit cryptic here and say,
No, go on.
if you want to come and see that sort of thing, come and
Yes.
let's talk about an open day. But
Okay.
just because it's hard doesn't mean it's harder to cut. So generally, if something's harder, it's easier to cut because
It'd be more brittle, won't it?
Molecular structure of it.
Yeah.
So sometimes having it softer is harder. So, like for example, aluminium is really hard to grind because it's so soft, and it just gets jammed in the teeth of the grinder. Whereas a really hardened bar would be really easy to cut through. So.
So this is where you see the different types of attacks as well. Like, so for example, someone would attack it with a pair of bolt cutters, for example, or someone would attack it with a sledgehammer, and that's going to be the difference between the different metals and maybe different results.
I always find that if you sprinkle gunpowder over the chain, they won't angle grind it because it'll just go boom.
There you go, another top tip there from Crazy Legs.
Yeah, Joe's saying there about gunpowder. One really good thing, especially for home security, as long as you remember that you've got it, is the little 12 gauge trip mines with a cable attached to the bike.
For God's sake!
They're blanks. They're blanks.
That's still manslaughter, mate. I tell you, Jesus.
It's not with a 12 gauge blank, but it gives off a very, very loud noise. And if you're in the garage when that goes off, it's gonna suck.
I know this is
a story about the van being hooked up to the battery.
Yes, I saw that. The electrician's van.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
he got plenty of visits from the police.
Just a bit.
I used to know somebody who had an old Ford Capri. I know it's not a bike, but he had an old Ford Capri parked on the road, and his security was a piece of fishing line up to his window with a little bell tied to it next to his bedside table.
Sometimes the simplest things are the best.
Yeah,
that's the first layer of technology, isn't it? The bell by your bed. You mentioned about cars. I mean, the security methods we're talking about at the moment, they're not just for bikes. That's one thing I will say is if you're securing your garage, some people put the cars in there, some people put quite expensive push bikes or whatever you may have in there. And I know that the Guardsman, for example, has been used used just for that reason for cars, etc. I mean, there's a great example there for you. Look at that. That's a beauty. Even more of a deterrent there for you that, like a bike, you're not really going to be able to lift it over there. But of course, a car, there's no way you're getting it over that without damaging it, etc. So yeah, security is a blanket for all things we're talking about as well. Right. What I will say at this point, guys, if anyone is watching and they have any specific questions that we either haven't answered or they want more information on, please pop it in the comments and we'll try and get through to them if we can do. And yeah, we'll if there's any particular questions we've got at the moment.
James, can I just pop back to the tools question? Sorry.
Of course you can, mate. Of course you can.
Yeah. Just a couple of other bits. So typically you've got the grinder as the main tool, if you like. There's this misconception that thieves are able to pick locks, and I'd probably just ask Rob do you see many people picking locks at all in your travels?
On really, really cheap locks, we have none of it.
Okay.
Generally cheap cylinder locks. So like on a D shackle, for example, they can be bypassed ridiculously easy with little plastic tubes and things. But when you go into the decent branded things, they're a lot more difficult.
Okay.
I've had to pick a lock. We recovered a bike that had been chained up, and we didn't have any tools necessary to recover it particularly easily. So I went down the route of actually picking the lock, and that took me a good 10 minutes to get through. It was a Squire padlock that was on it. It took me a good 10 minutes.
You still managed to pick that. Fair play.
Yeah, I mean, it took me 10 minutes to get through it. The recovery driver was sitting there wondering how the hell we were going to get it on the low loader because it was still chained to a lamppost. But a bit of perseverance and we got the lock popped. It can be done, but it does take a level of skill and practice to be able to do that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Lock picking nowadays, it is an art, and they need to know the different types of locks out there, the different types of barrels, and there's different techniques and things. It is a skill, like you said there. Absolutely.
Yeah, any decent padlock has got extra security pins, wafers, things in there that make picking it difficult, if not very, very. Yeah, I think I've just seen the comment there from Jack NCO. They can be impressioned really easily, the cheap ones, because there's no security pins or anything in them.
From the sort of the insurance again, I'm just going back to the MCIA group that I'm in. It's that typically locks aren't picked, and there's a YouTube guy, lock picking lawyer, that people reference quite a lot of. Who is
he's amazing.
He's a guy from America, and I don't think there's anyone better, but he's able to pick pretty much 99% of locks.
Yep.
But
I think a lot of his videos actually.
Yeah, but from experience and from speaking to people, you've said a few things there, Rob, that are a bit contrary, but generally I don't think locks are picked, and people sort of use that or sort of, can it be picked? Well, they don't really pick locks. Obviously there's a few exceptions to the rule, there always is, but just because a guy from America can pick a lock doesn't mean Joe Bloggs, who's trying to rob your bike in 10 seconds, is gonna want to or can.
Let's be honest. Take a lockpick is a skill. It takes time. So unless you've got abundance of time, you're not going to be disturbed. That's the only time you'd really see that. Most people, if they see a lock or a padlock or whatever, they're going to be tooled up for the job. They've got bolt cutters. Boom, done. Off you go, sort of thing. That's I would presume that's 90% of what is out there and what happens, especially again, was said at the very beginning about being glamorized and stuff on social media. These are the videos you see where it's three lads, they kind of overwhelm you, you don't know what's going on, snap, done, and off they go, sort of thing.
Yeah. And the other one is bolt croppers are great because they're silent is the main thing that they're great at.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the teeth don't open wide enough if the chain link is greater than 14 millimeters in diameter. So as again, top tip, as long as you've got a chain that is bigger than 14 mil in diameter, it's uncroppable by hand. So I would always
you'd never get the force through a set of bolt croppers to cut through it, even if you could get the link into the jaws.
So looking on the flip side, then, if it's a bigger chain, is that more susceptible to being cut with an angle grinder, or is a smaller chain better?
Yeah, smaller chain, 100%. The smaller the chain, the easier it is to angle grind. The rule is the bigger it is, the longer it takes. But for bolt croppers, as long as it's bigger than...
I can see you.
I didn't say anything.
No, I saw you. Go on. But no, exactly, and that's why these 20, 22, 24 mil chains that you see nowadays, they are the ultimate in chains.
But there's only up to a certain point, because anything above 14 mil, you can't bolt crop it, so you've got to cut it with an angle grinder. Now, the time difference between a 16 to a 20 to a 22 to a 24, proportionately, I'm not going to give you numbers because that'll give the thief a number or a target, but proportionately, it's not as great as you'd think it would be.
Okay.
So just go for the biggest chain that you can afford with the strongest lock that you can afford that will fit and suit that chain.
Okay, that makes sense. I like that. So it doesn't always pay to necessarily go as big as you can do.
I mean, it does, but is it necessary?
Yeah, exactly. That's what
it's that budget versus purely on your budget, really.
Yeah. Oh, and that is what it comes
what is best, circular or square chain?
Forgive me, I don't know what a square chain is. I know what a circular one is, but I don't know if you get square ones.
So there's again another video on YouTube that's done the rounds where they have got a square looking chain. I think it's American based, where they say it takes 6 minutes to grind through, and it's about a 14 to a 16 mil diameter square chain. We bought the chain, and it's total bollocks.
Is it?
Yeah. See, I would have thought with a round chain, an angle grinder is just going to deflect off. Where if it's square, it gives you more of a, you're going to get a better cut through it.
No, as long as you can use your grinder, you can cut through anything.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think as you said there, Jay, it's going to be harder to get that initial bite on a round chain. You know,
Yeah.
especially, let's face it, thieves are going to be doing it in the dark 9 times out of 10. They're going to be rushing because they're trying to do it as quick as they can, and so trying to get the chain and trying to hold it, and it's going to be harder, I would assume.
I'll be honest. It's marginal. If anything, there's no difference. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. See, there you go. I mean, these assumptions that I'm having,
I'm guessing whoever just put that question up has seen the video, the American video, Steady Cruiser. Have you seen the video that I'm referring to where he alleges 6 minutes to cut the square chain?
So there's a lot of videos online where they say that this is a 10-minute chain. This is unless it's a reputable source.
Don't believe everything you see, and if you want to try it yourself, like I said, come and have a go at our place.
Mate, I'm generally looking forward to doing this.
I think we should, James. I think from this, we should set it up.
Yeah,
come and do 100%. It yourself. I'll get the chain in. I'll get the beers in.
Happy days. I'll have some of them. That'd be lovely. Don't drink and grind, people. Don't do that.
No.
Don't drink and grind.
Well, it depends what sort of grinding you're doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. We'll save that for another vlog. I think we'll leave that. Oh Jesus. Okay. Any more tools? Any
Rob
sort
will
of...
come round and take the kids away from us.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. He'll smash your back doors in and all that. He'll right. So I've lost the train of thought now. Yeah. So any other tools out there that are being used? Is there any sort of like unlikely tools that people have seen or heard of or anything like that? I mean, people nowadays, they especially with modern bikes, they're like, oh, no, I've got a steering lock. Well, that's fine. People don't understand that a steering lock is actually probably one of the easiest things to get through. Yes, again, part of the layering system. It's a preventative. It's not going to turn easy, but with enough force, enough leverage, you could snap a steering lock.
They just boot. Yeah, they just boot the handlebar. Yeah. That's not good enough. No.
And you can actually write off a motorcycle in that process because you damage the headstock.
Oh, so you actually write it. So as far as insurance is concerned, it's gone anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You've damaged the frame at that point, and the insurance company generally won't repair it; they'll just scrap it.
Yeah, especially with ours, James, as well, because we've got the ours is electronic, isn't it?
Oh,
not
God,
like
yeah,
these
electronic.
not like the cheaper bikes, the Honda Africa Twins.
Oh no, no one wants a cheap Africa Twin. That's crazy. Steady Cruz has just come back to you. He said that the chain he's talking about is the Oxford Hardcore chain. That's a squared one.
Okay.
So that's interesting. Okay. I'm sure there's different.
Not from my experience. Have a look for the have a look on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the chain, but there's a guy on YouTube, American, with a square chain who says it's 6 minutes with a grinder. Nothing will last 6 minutes with a grinder.
No, I'm going to write that down actually because I'm going to look at that one because I like looking at different things like that. Okay, right. So, blimey, we've covered so much already. I'm looking at all the different bits that we were due to talk about, and we've kind of gone through most of it. Okay, let's talk about the last minute sort of thing. We probably already discussed it, but it's good to reiterate it. Top security tips. So, if you're, we'll start with out and about because that's the one we've just talked about. What is your number one top tip, which you'd say to do when you're locking your bike up or securing your bike? Jay and hello Kay as well. Jay and Kay, Steve and Kay, hello Kay. So Steve and Kay, what? Because obviously you do camping as well. What would you be your number one? Yep, this is what I'm going to do when I'm securing my bike.
I've always had the rule of thumb of 3 locks on the bike, and one including the steering lock. Quote me if I'm wrong. It was a rumor a long time ago that a lot of the time in the small print on your insurance that just your steering lock alone wasn't enough and the insurance might not pay out if it was only that. So rule of thumb for me is always a disc lock, a chain and steering lock. 3 locks minimum.
Okay, so and you take them wherever you go, and especially if you're going to be overnight or whatever. Yeah,
even if I'm nipping down to the local supermarket just to get little bits and bobs, I'm parking the bike next to a railing or an object that is in the ground. And disc lock, chain, steering lock minimum. Good. If we're going out for the day, like I did it the weekend with Jay then, where we've constantly got eyes on the bike at all time, then that's something different. Steering lock, that's fine. But I never leave the bike without the steering lock on.
No.
That's just a force of habit. Stop the bike, steering lock straight on, away we go.
Okay.
Camping.
I think that's a point worth kind of actually having on its own. There is, I know we said it earlier, but it's worth re-saying. Park your bike somewhere visible, not just visible that, let's say, you're sitting in a restaurant, whether it be McDonald's, a coffee shop, or a campsite, whatever it may be. Have it somewhere where you can keep your eyes on it. Second of all, well lit. That's always a good thing, because again, if it's in a little dark alley, that's going to almost encourage people to go and have a look at it, check out the bike, see what sort of security is on it. But if it's well lit, it's maybe around a couple of other bikes, for example, or certainly very close to it. Well, that's going to stop people being able to get between the bikes and that sort of thing. So these security methods are fantastic, but couple it with positioning, light, and visibility. I think that's going to be part of the layers. Let's say it. All say it together.
Yeah.
Layers. Go on, Jay. Let's come to you, matey. What's your kind of number one? What would you say is your top tip?
I think the first thing is, if you go on a group ride, make sure you park in the parking bay first, so all the other bikes park around you and it's protected.
Not selfish at all. That's brilliant. I like that. Yeah.
Seriously, like Steve says, if you're just popping into a cafe or something like that, make sure the steering lock's on. Make sure you've got visibility of that bike as well, or other people have also got eyes on that, preferably not the thieves.
No, true.
When I've done camping before, I've also done the thing where you tie a bike to another bike.
Yes.
That's always good. I've done it. I've even done it with 3 bikes and put chains through the 3 bikes, and then all the 3 bikes have had disc locks as well.
Okay. It's
So
like a bike centipede.
Yeah, and I think Rob mentioned a cover as well, putting a cover on that's not highly visible, really. So all the shiny bits get covered up on the bike, so you can't see them under torchlight.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So yeah.
Rob, go on. Let's come to you, matey.
Yeah, I have to agree with Steve. Realistically, 3 locks minimum if you're out and about. Obviously, it's situation dependent. If the bike's always going to be close by, if you're out on a ride, you've gone to a country pub or you've gone to a cafe meet and the bike's close by all the time, generally steering lock and maybe a disc lock is normally enough. But if you're leaving it for any longer period and it's going to be away from your sight, a cover and 3 locks minimum, ideally chained to something substantial if it's there. That's probably the best advice I can give for while you're out and about, because you are limited on what you can carry.
Of course. Especially with the smaller sports bikes, for example, they've got like a little pouch under their seat. Maybe not everyone's blessed with having luggage systems and all that nowadays. So one thing I will say that's an absolute pet hate of mine is seeing people riding wearing their chain. That absolutely horrifies me.
Like Mr. T.
Yeah, if you're carrying this 14, 16, 18, even 20 mil chain across your body and you have an off, that's going to do more damage than the impact of you hitting the road.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Please don't do it.
I mean, have you got any advice of how to carry these chains? If let's say they're on a sports bike, for example, have you got any other way of carrying it? Because I mean, for some people, that's the only way they do it. I mean, obviously, backpack is. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's
a backpack. Even a 14 mil chain. 14 mil chain on a small tail.
I used to wrap mine around
your pillion.
The pillion handles.
Yeah.
Oh, your pillion handles, right?
Pillion or.
Not my love handles, pillion handles.
But even if you just get a small tail pack or something like that, if you're not carrying a pillion, small tail pack, you can fit a 14 mil chain and a padlock into there. Yep. Quite easily.
Okay.
I just find get a bigger helmet 2 sizes too big and keep it in there.
That's not good advice, that, Jay. I wouldn't recommend that, mate.
One that 2 sizes too big for your fat head, Jay.
Yeah, whatever, Kay. you can go now, Kay.
I think one thing to mention is that security nowadays, certainly when you are securing an item, whether it be a disc lock, a D-lock, a chain, whatever it may be, how long does it take to secure a bike? We put in 3 bits of security on: disc lock, clip, a grip lock, clip, and then a chain. Yep, feed it through the wheel, secure it to something solid, done. It doesn't take very long to do so. It takes probably about the same amount of time if you didn't have any security on the bike for them to go, hang on, that looks a prime opportunity. disable whatever steering lock or whatever you've got, and then the bike's gone. So for the small amount of time it takes to secure your bike, please do it, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know, get something. Anything is better than nothing, but the more you can, the more of these layers you've got, the better. Dave,
Just
go
get
on,
a
let's go. Get a K. Yeah, she a
Get a
Rottweiler
K.
that stands there and get away
I'm more
from
like
the
a
bike.
Jack Russell.
It's like a fucking
like a Jack
chihuahua.
Russell.
All
Yeah.
Go on, Dave. Let's
honestly,
come to you,
I'll say
matey.
that.
So, Dave, what would be your top tip?
For when you're out and about, only one thing to add to the good conversation there is consider something alarmed is one of your 3 locks that you're going to put on your bike. So an alarm disc lock would be. Oh, there you go. Someone just put that.
There you go.
We do a great one. Not to last self promotion here. We do a
that's
great
good.
one. Zovi alarm disc lock. Really small, compact. 120 decibel alarm. As soon as they start tampering with your bike, it'll trigger the alarm. You'll hear that up to 300 meters away, 400 meters away. So if you're in a calf just down the road, you'll hear it, and then that will.
Do you know?
Sorry, mate.
Can I just ask on your disc lock there?
Yeah.
I carry my disc lock attached to the bike, just behind the rear pillion pegs. There's a little hole that's perfect for it.
Okay.
Obviously, with an alarm disc lock, when it's engaged, it's armed. It gets quite embarrassing riding down the road. Can you?
You're riding down the road with a siren. Brilliant.
Gets you through traffic, though, doesn't
it? So ours can be locked but unarmed. So it works on the push. So that now is locked. You can see the pin. It's locked, but it's not alarmed. He says as it goes off.
I thought that was my jacket potato cooking then.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So, so for storage, for carrying it around, for perfect for what you were saying there, Rob, is great. You can carry it on the bike and everything. And how much are they rating?
Yeah, they're $59.99. That's full retail. Obviously, with a 15, it's a bit less.
Yeah, and coming back to that, very kindly by Image for Security and Dave has offered us a 15% discount for anyone watching this stream, or of course any of the Midlands motorbikers. Just type in that discount code MM15, MM15, and that will get you everything, which will be active tomorrow, by the way.
Sorry, can I just ask? You know, with the disc lock, Dave, because a lot of you can buy some disc locks and they're really sensitive.
Yeah.
What's yours like? For, like a bit of wind or anything.
Yeah, never had any issues with sensitivity, wind, sort of that thing. No, as long as you set it up right and alarm it in the correct way, you won't have any issues with it at all.
So, like rain, for example, I know that's one thing that a lot of people comment on. If it's raining quite hard, then that can set some of the alarms off.
Yeah,
so
I mean we've been out and installed and start drilling, and then there's the bloody Oxford disc lock going off in the corner. Yeah,
not with my alarm disc lock will go off when I'm trying to open the garage door.
Yeah, the other thing that's quite handy is we do a couple of cable reminders. So that, just again, top tip: don't drive off with your disc lock on you. Yeah,
we've all done that.
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
You're lying.
I haven't.
You're lying.
£5, buy a cable reminder and use it.
Yeah.
You might have done that, Steve. GS riders don't do that sort of thing, Steve.
No, we don't. We're too sensible.
I ain't gonna say what I think of GS riders.
No, it's family friendly.
Okay.
Told you she's like a chihuahua.
I know, I can hear it in the background. Right, no, listen, I think that's been absolutely brilliant tonight. There's been some really, really good questions, really good comments, some really good feedback, and of course, from us guys, different versions of how we treat motorcycle security. From Dave being preventative, Steve, Jay being bike owners, that kind of, this is what we're in the middle, if you like, and then of course Rob at the very end, unfortunately, wiping up after all the mess and after the horse has bolted. But it's really nice to be able to see and discuss before, during, after. I think the rule of the biggest thing to take away from today is just look into your security. So as Dave said at the very beginning, wherever you secure your bike, look at it from a thief point of view. If you wanted to steal that bike or wanted to get in there or whatever it may be, where's the weak points? Where's the points where you feel you can improve it? And if anything we've discussed today, any items, any products has been something that's hang on, that's really, really good, then please look into it and don't leave it. Don't leave it, for God's sake. If you leave it 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the one time where they come along and the opportunist, that you don't want to kick yourself. That's what you don't want to do. And and obviously from today, that discount code is brilliant. I think it's worth the full whack. I'm not even joking. I generally feel that the products you guys sell are absolutely brilliant. So the fact you're offering us a discount code is great. And to take up this opportunity. Yeah, and there you go. So Steve, even before this chat, Steve was actually a customer of MOTORBIKE Security. You've got the Guardsman, haven't you, matey?
I have. I've had it for 2 years now.
Yeah, and go on, tell us about it. Come on.
Absolutely amazing. From the first ever point of contact to booking in to having it installed, everything. There's not been one. You know, if there's been an issue, that's been resolved straight away. Absolutely fine.
It's nice and smooth to use, isn't it?
Customer services is top notch. I mean, you can't understand them, but we expect that from them.
That Liverpoolian accent, that's fine.
Yeah. No, honestly, I wouldn't sit here and say.
Well, we started serious.
Well, I've started some off there. I wouldn't recommend a product if I didn't rate it, and I recommend this product to absolutely anyone and everybody. If you've got a garage, or a shed, and you can afford to do it, bite the bullet, because I was the same. I thought it's a lot of money to spend out. I'll tell you what, it's the best thing I've ever done. It's such a peace of mind.
That's the word I was looking for there. It is peace of mind. It's going to give you that added layer of you know, okay, even if they get through the garage door, that's going to be the biggest deterrent they're going to see. They're going to go, nah, mate, I'm not even going to bother with that.
And I absolutely love the fact, because like you, James, you know, I like washing my bikes. I like getting the bikes out onto the drive. Yep. You know, you've got loads of space. When the Guardsman is up and behind the garage pillars, from the top of the garage, from the top of the drive, you do not know it's there. It's completely invisible, and it's just great to have. I know that I can.
Go on.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was saying, I love the fact that the Guardsman now is you know, yeah, absolutely, you know, they can design it in a way. And sorry, Dave, this is making your head big, but honestly, it is genuinely really good that they are, you know,
it's making something else of mine big. I'm telling you.
Is it? Right, well, enough of that. Right. Okay. So we'll go.
It's not me thinking off.
No, in all honesty, the great thing about the Guardsman now is it is a great security method. They now do the customizations as well, so you can actually have it pretty. I knew you'd say that. You can have it customized to your favorite logos, and you know, speak to the guys at MOTORBIKE Security. They can customize it to make it even better looking than it already is.
Customize one that's already fitted.
That I'll leave that for a conversation with you two. We'll leave that for another day. But it's not just for garage doors, guys. This is other doors that are available. The one on the left, Dave, that's a bit of a story with that one. Whose is that one?
Yeah, that's Lamb Chop Rides.
There you go.
Yeah, we fitted that about 4 weeks ago. So he's going to be doing a review video in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks. But yeah, that's the shed version, which can be done for any sort of door opening, single door opening, if you've got a second access point for your garage. And again, works very similar to the garage version.
Dave, do you do them sort on patio doors as well? You know, the outward opening like French doors.
It depends if we can fix into it. If there's something to fix into, then yes. But if you've got questions like that, then just get in touch. Send me a message or an email or give me a ring. I'll probably ask you for a couple of pictures, and if we can do it, we will do it. Yeah, just a couple of pictures of the door is all we need.
Yeah, I'm going to say the others are on.
That's all you asked from me. A couple of pictures.
Yeah, but they're on OnlyFans, aren't they?
they are, yeah. But I think it didn't even take you that long to install it, was it? I think I was at work. I came home and you'd pretty much finished.
Yeah. It takes about between an hour and an hour and a half for installation.
Oh, is that all?
But if you've got the right tools, if you've got the right tools, it's quite easy.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's good. So there you go. So if you have any questions or queries and you are generally interested in something like this, then get in contact with Dave at MOTORBIKE Security. I mean, I know Dave, obviously at my previous place, we were discussing getting it before I moved. Obviously I moved, so I didn't need it in the end, but I sent you a couple of photos of the dimensions, a couple of forward and backwards messages, and then you worked out a solution perfect for that particular space. And that's great. It is actually quite flexible of what you can do and how you can adapt it for the spaces. Is there a minimum size you can do? I suppose not.
No minimum. Because we design and fabricate it all ourselves in house. We can. I'm saying is hopefully do anything that the customer wants. So
everything's bespoke then. So whatever. You get the sizes and then you design it.
85% is standard for the standard garages or standard sheds. 15% is probably custom, but we do that free of charge. We don't charge any extra for a custom one.
Oh wow, well, that's worth noting.
Yeah, once you place your order
out on those fancy colours, then I'd be kicking myself right now.
Yeah, there is a charge for the custom colours, but anything that's slightly different or larger than a standard single garage in terms of width, we do that free of charge. So actually, the picture there of the car, that's about a 3 metre span.
Which one we're talking? That one there, yeah. That's 3 metre.
That's a 3 metre, which again, we did that free of charge. So yeah, anything up to 3 metres we can cover.
And anything over that, that's when you'd be looking at that one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the double one. Yeah. So double garages or industrial units would be the double guardsman barrier, and then the shed version is for obviously your sheds up to a double 1800mm wide shed, or your pedestrian doors again up to 1800mm, 1.8 meters.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Listen, guys, what can I say? It's been a really successful stream again. It's loads and loads of great information. I'm actually going to watch this back and take some notes, because there's a lot of things that I've learned myself, and even I've done the research beforehand. So it's good to see that there's more information and more products and more things out there that we can look at. Definitely get in contact with Image for Security if you have any questions or queries, or you want to have a look at maybe a quote for your particular garage or anything like that. It's a great product. Well, all the products that you've got out there, the Guardsman, the Defender, the Apex. Honestly, I'm trying to remember them all. You've got loads.
Yeah.
No, it's well worth it. But anything else to add, guys? Has anyone got anything else they want to say before we sign off for the evening?
Yeah, I was just going to say, James, we're more than happy to offer advice and recommendations on products, especially the Image Force stuff. It's above and beyond what a lot of manufacturers are offering. The fact that it's tested and built and made in the UK, it is that proper British engineering.
That's it. We lose touch of that sometimes, don't we? To have something made here in the UK, even if it is in Birmingham, it's okay, it's fine. No, honestly, no,
it's acceptable. It's acceptable from Birmingham.
Yeah.
But that's brilliant. And Rob, how would they get in touch with you, matey?
So the little tag in the bottom of my screen at the minute is our Twitter. We're also on at Coventry SVR on Twitter. Yeah. We're also we have a group on Facebook and a page on Facebook.
And not just for advice, but if there is the unfortunate situation where maybe a bike is found, or if you have had your bike stolen, then obviously maybe the police, the insurance, do what you need to do. But as another point of call, the team at SVRC can hopefully help and at least maybe give you some pointers in trying to track it down and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, we can definitely try and point you in the right direction.
Yeah, which is brilliant. So that's brilliant. Steve, Jay, anything from yourselves, guys?
No, I've like yourself, James. I think I've learned a lot of things. Dave, thanks very much for your products and that. I have seen you on Teapot One and all that. There's a lot of YouTubers that talk about your equipment. But I feel like I've had a
That wasn't even me.
I know, someone had to do it. Sorry, go on.
No, I feel like I've had a real insight to what you do, and I find it really interesting, and it's definitely something that I will consider as well. So, cheers for that.
Well, I think the guys here, we'd love to take up your opportunity, Dave, of the challenge Annika, if you like, or have a look at. God, that's going to show my age. Jesus Christ! Have a go at, and it'd be good to get some footage and actually show people that these products that you do, they're thought, they are thought behind it is for the bikers to secure it, to make it as good and solid as possible, and they're not going to be easy to get into. So it's testament to the products you have, and we're gonna hold you to that. That is a challenge we're well up for.
Well, let's have a chat just after this, James. And
no, definitely.
Let's do it. Yeah, but
Jay, Steve, you up for that?
Yep, definitely.
Rob as well. Are you up for that, matey?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can participate.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What are you going to bring down? He's going to bring them jackhammer and that sort of thing.
I have a few. I have a few tools that we can go with as well.
Okay.
Realistic tools, mate. We don't want some like plasma.
No, realistic. Yeah, I'm not going to turn up with a 9-inch grinder.
Yeah.
That's all right. Jay's turning up the 9-inch something else anyway, so it's
Hey,
What an
I'm
ego.
not folding it in half for anybody, mate. I'm sorry.
Wow, on that bombshell, let's end it there, shall we? No, listen, it's already been said, but Dave, thank you very much for coming on
Yeah, cheers,
with us
thanks
tonight.
very much.
It's been brilliant to speak to you, to see you, to learn more about your products, and again, for that discount code you've got there, I think that is brilliant, and I really hope that people take up that opportunity and get themselves some additional security to what they've got. But yeah, guys,
Any questions whatsoever, just give me a call. Numbers on the website, image4security.com.
and that's number 4, just like it is on your headline there for you. So
Exactly.
Can I just talk one last thing in, James?
Excuse me.
I've got to get an innuendo in there somewhere.
In your endo.
Yeah. As a group, we're entirely self-funded. We do occasionally get little bounties and things from insurance companies and occasionally from owners if they've got a particular sentimental value. But we are generally entirely self-funded aside from those little occasions. We do have a little donation page if anybody wants to chip in
No, please.
Fuel
So
costs
what is that,
and things.
matey? What is that if they need to know?
It's on if you go to our Twitter, there's a link tree link on there. And it allows you just to pop in a few quid into the kitty just to help us out.
Fantastic.
Cover fuel
that's
costs
worth
and
saying
things
as
like
well,
that.
these guys at SBRC, they are completely voluntary in what they do. They do have normal daytime jobs. They are normal people. They're doing this outside their remit as well. So although it is a job, it is, as you say, self-funded, voluntary, and they're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, which is incredible. I've seen them working firsthand. I know how hard they work, outside the normal hours as well. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. And I hope, again, you get some kickback on that as well, matey. But right.
Cheers.
No worries at all. Right, let's get everyone signed off. Steve, say goodbye, matey.
See you later, guys. Thank you for coming on.
And check out his channel at Carts Wheels. Please check it out, and don't forget to subscribe to everyone that you see here. That'll be fantastic. Steve, take care, buddy.
Bye.
Love you. Jay, what's your channel?
Crazy Legs on a Bike on YouTube. Thanks again, James, for getting me on here. Really enjoyed the chat. Found it really interesting. Thank you, and good to meet you, Dave. Good to meet you, Rob.
You too, Jay. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I
thanks very
actually
much.
look like that in real life with a logo for a head.
Right, okay.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Very round.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah.
Rob, go on then. Sign off, buddy.
Thank you very much, guys, for having me on. I will use one little hashtag lock it or lose it, sadly.
Nice. Yeah. Straight to the point. So that's brilliant. Rob, thank you very much for coming on, matey. And again, thanks for your efforts in the background as well.
No worries, mate. We'll catch up soon.
Take care, matey. Bye-bye now.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
And Dave, again, what can I say? Thank you very much for coming on, matey. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great to kind of learn a little bit more. I mean, I knew anyway, but it's been great to learn a bit more about your brilliant products and your company that you have. And here's the very success. And we are going to be in touch straight after this.
Yeah.
And we're going to get something organised, matey.
Yeah, I'd love that. Just one last one. If anybody's going to MCM Peterborough in the next couple of weeks, we'll be there. So if you want to see us in person, come and say hello.
Definitely worth doing. And you usually, especially at the shows I've been to before, you have the guardsmen set up there.
We'll have all,
you can touch them, you can feel them, you can actually see how bloody well made they are. They're really good quality products, guys. So please, go check them out. Go shake Dave's hand and say hello.
Yeah, smashing. Great. Cheers. Thanks.
Dave, thank you very much, mate, and take care of yourself. See you soon.
See you later. Cheers.
Right, guys, there we go. That is the end of tonight's stream on motorcycle security. I really hope it's been an enjoyable one for you all. I really hope that you've learned something. I hope that you've taken something away from it. And again, it's worth saying at this point, I'm gonna keep plugging it because I seriously, I love these guys. I love what they do, and the fact they've offered us 15% discount just for coming and watching a stream and being involved with the Midlands Motorbikers, I think is brilliant. Again, so. If anyone has any further questions, please feel free to get in touch either via email, drop it on the chat, or just get in touch with us on the Facebook pages. Please check out all the YouTube channels, the Facebook pages, Twitters, Twatters, all that thing in the world. Make sure you check everything out. And from me, James at Midlands Motorbikers, it's been a pleasure. Good evening all. Ride safe. Take care.